There we go. Let's go. Totodope. Woo! CrossFire. It's going to be a good one tonight. I'm excited. I am very excited tonight. Shout out to Totodope. He said, let's rock this tonight, buddy. Absolutely. It's great to see all the Mooch Maniac family members here. Guys, we tweaked the audio again. I want to do a little bit of a welcome while everybody kind of shuffles in. I see Lloyd Metroid, JC 2013, the great Gaming with Persona, who you're going to hear from real soon, by the way. This is going to be a great night. I'm very excited. A lot of great topics. Hopefully we get to a lot of topics, but I do want to say, shout out to WRZ Cup. I was mentioning him last week. He's the person that tells me on Saturdays when he checks out the show after on demand about the audio. So I did actually tweak a few more things, guys. Let me know if I'm too loud. I took a few of the noise cancellation things that are going on. I had that almost going on in 3 different software items. When the mixer I have does it internally, I found that may be also why you thought we were coming through a bit muted. So let me know how the audio is, guys. I can turn my volume down. I can turn it up a bit. I have a lot more control right now. Mega Bad Seed, I see him out there. Cursed Kane, I appreciate all you guys all here, by the way. Rob Jones, the great Rob Jones, who's always talking to me behind the scenes. Great to have you here as well. I do want to say, we're doing something special tonight. One gentleman is on the show. Another one used to be on the show. The great Alan at Beetle Comet and the great Button Basher were so gracious to give codes for the Forza Motorsport. So I have questions. And this is a great idea by Supernova and Gamers Gamut that I was talking to before the show as well. And I said, Mooch, let's ask some questions. So I got some questions. They're not difficult to answer. They kind of pertain a little bit to what's been going on in the news the past week or two as far as games. So sometime in the second half of the show, I'll be doing a Steam code giveaway for anybody in the chat that's here right now. And then at some point in the second half, we'll be doing an Xbox Series code for Forza Motorsport. So 2 codes. Please in the chat remind me if we get around 8:15, 8:30, and I somehow we're just so into the conversation and I happen to forget. I apologize. I want to give these codes out to you guys. But again, thanks to Alan and thanks to Basher for this. This is just a tremendous big time thank you. That being said, if you guys would take a second, hit that like button. Tell people around the neighborhood that we're live. It is Friday the 13th, which is fantastic. I love Halloween as it is. And then we have a Friday the 13th here, and we get to do CrossFire. I don't know. The weekend can't get any better, to be honest with you. That being said, if you'll take a look at that outstanding description right there, where I wrote the essence of tonight's show, right above that is the join button. And if you guys would be so gracious to join the family, it means the world to me, and it gives me the ability to do things like we're going to be doing in the next few weeks. Like I said, I have a special little show kind of thing I'm working up with a big-time guy that you guys know from Twitter and YouTube. And it should be a lot of fun. So hopefully something like that will happen. We're working behind the scenes. Don't want to announce it until we're 100% yet. But that's what we're able to do and grow this channel a little bit and get more content to you guys. That being said, I want to thank each one of these people one by one. They're phenomenal, and they help me out on a week-to-week, if not day-to-day basis. The great Sir X, man, JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, pardon me, MumbleRanting Gaming, Tyson Web 509, TrueWiddy, Alphonso Carter, BRAP, who you're going to hear from, Jamie, Damion, the great Jimmy Harrison, who's here, Andy Hart, Red Hood 420, joining us next week, Hamsolo05, Rob Jones, the great Rob Jones, who's been so amazing, Night Ripper 7, Totodope, Thumbs, JC 2013, Passive Prophet, Lord Metroid, who's here, Rabbit Got the Gun, Fastbender, Archwar Angel, Biggity 08, Slow-Mo Backslap, outstanding DPS. Again, guys, go over and check them out on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock. Henry Hack, who's here, Edward Jordan, Ice Queen Gaming, shout out to Dawn. Dawn says to me, Mooch, I can't catch it live. I'm in the UK, but I'll catch it tomorrow. So I appreciate you watching the show and listening, Ice Queen. And thanks for joining back to the channel. And Silent Merc, who's here, our major Mooch Maniacs, 4-star General, AD, Truth Serum, RPG 88, your boy Roy, Scolari Brothers, Smokes 901, DC Gaming, Miko, Gaming with Persona, and Jay Barry. I'm going to give Jay Barry's, Jay, you're always part of the family. Doesn't matter if you're Mooch Maniac family member or not, you're part of the family anyways. Gaming with Persona and Jay Barry doing What's Up PlayStation. It's back tomorrow. I've literally been wandering around the house for a full week while they took the week off. Back at 11 a.m. Eastern time. That's how I start my Saturdays. That's how you guys should start yours. Tactical Gamer, Danelle Brown, That Guy Smitty, Brian B, a.k.a. Delirium Blades, and our VIP Mooch Maniac Shadow Assassin, Raji, Domino Zero, the Wise Old Gamer, and again, our honorable mentions, Jay Barry, General Thade Ape, I always say his name wrong, and I apologize, General, Supreme Samurai, and Julian Johnson, and our forever Mooch Maniacs, Longshot 316, and the great Optimus code. Guys, please do tweet it out. Hit that like button. We are going to have a great show for you tonight, and CrossFire is going to live up to its name. Take my word for it. Let's get into this amazing panel. We have more people joining us the second hour. We've got giveaways, and it's a hot news day. That being said, let's get right to it. You guys know him Wednesday night. Sometimes he does Thursday night. Sometimes he does Monday night. Maybe a Sunday afternoon. Basement, radio, arcade, podcast. BRAP. BRAP, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Hey, Mooch, what's going on, man? I'm doing well. It's Friday. Excited to talk about video games.
Let's go.
And it's also Friday the 13th.
Thank God.
October 13th, the day that shitification happened to the gaming industry.
And in case you guys are wondering what BRAP means by that, he will read you an excerpt from that and a definition. So that's the great. You're going to learn tonight with the great BRAP here. Shout out to Domino Zero. The super chat's working. It's a miracle. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's take it easy, Domino. I was just having a good weekend. Let's not talk about sports right now. My Giants are not doing too well. That being said, let's get this amazing panel. I appreciate it. Listen, I reached out to him last week. He does a great show with the Wise Old Gamer, which happens to air on Fridays around the same time. And I love that show they do. It is they hold nothing back. It is absolutely say what you want. It's the Wild West. I love every second of it. That's what podcasting should be all about. The great Supernova Gaming also on the roundtable every week as well. Super, welcome back to the show, buddy. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a hot minute, but yeah, happy to be here, man.
Well, I appreciate it, Nova. And let's be honest. You're just not shy to speak, and this is probably the platform for you. So great to have you here tonight.
Not at all.
Great to have you, buddy. And I gave him the introduction because honestly, I mean it with all my heart. I'm in the chat. I'm generally having to drive or do something on Saturday morning. It's just how I start my Saturdays. The great Gaming with Persona is with us tonight. And I know Persona, sometimes I bring you on the show. And sometimes, you're like, Mooch, why are you doing this to me, man? Like, why are you doing this to me? I thought we were friends. But, Persona, I got to hear your take when big news hits. I always love your hot takes. Persona, how you doing this evening?
Yes, sir. Yo, what's going on, man? Big shout out to the panel. Looks like it's gonna be a good show tonight. Big shout out to the chat, man. Make sure you guys hit the like button, share the stream out, and Mooch, man, who's yelling? Who's yelling? Who's yelling?
I'm already on one right now, Persona.
But yo, man, listen, I'm a part of the Mooch family now. I think your chat, they love me. They hate me, but they love me.
Well,
remember back in the early days, they would be like, "Oh my God, that Persona guy." Oh my God, Mooch, I'm not listening this week. They love me now. They understand that, it's Persona. So, all right, we're prepared. But I'm happy to be here, Mooch. Thanks for the invite. And yeah, man, I can't wait to, listen to everybody's takes and have a good conversation. Good show.
Absolutely, Persona. I can't wait to hear the takes myself. That being said, this is going to be great. I've reached out to him a couple weeks just with scheduling. It didn't work out. It happened to work this week. This is the best week for him to be here. The great Doc Dark is back on the show. Doc, I got to tell you, man, we've had some great conversations on this show with you, and tonight just happened to me. And we were going to do something last week, so it wasn't like you're just coming on because of the deal that went through. And this, we were going to do this last week, but the schedule didn't work out. So, Doc, listen, as fortune may have it, it worked out in our favor because this is a great night to have you on the show. Doc, how you doing this evening?
Isn't it? It's the best night to have me on the show. I know, puppy. Let me tell you, I'm so happy. I'm just so happy. And I got Supernova in here. I love it. I got Persona here. What's up, PlayStation? Puppy, I'm letting you know, we're about to go. BRAP. I don't know what that word was. But you know what? Today I don't speak English, so don't worry about it, okay? Oh, I'm so excited to be here. This is going to be such a great show. Chat, get ready. Get ready. Whether you hit that like or dislike button, it's okay, puppies. It's okay.
Shout out to Doc, man. Always makes it entertaining and so lively, man. I love it. Doc, listen, before we get started, I do want to say a shout out to Button Basher. Just so you guys know, you see Button Basher here. Basher is currently coming from work, going to home. So he's heading home. He's on his phone. If he wants to chime in, he can. He's going to wait till he gets home on his microphone and then chime in. But Basher, if you hear anything that you want to chime in, if you're in the car and you're still traveling, feel free, buddy. But shout out to Button Basher, man. Great to have you here as well.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm excited. Talk about games and there's a lot of energy in the room right now. I hope I can match that. But yeah, do my best to talk and say what I can about games.
I appreciate it, Basher. Like I said, you chime in whenever you want to, buddy. Great to have you here tonight with us. All right, so let's get started here. And I like to put my guests on the hot seat here, especially the ones that haven't been on the show in a while. I want to start off by saying this. So of course, we're going to talk about the Microsoft and ABK deal. I'm not planning on making the whole show about it, but let's just see how the conversation goes, okay? Let's just say that. Let's not put ourselves on the hook there, okay? So I do want to say this much. I'll put this out there. I'll throw the volleyball up, and then and believe it or not, I'm gonna go to Persona first. So Doc, you go ahead and write your notes. I'm gonna go to Persona first because I know.
Oh, damn!
Doc,
You knew I wanted to go.
I know. But now, hear me out. I'm gonna go ahead and be this. I'm gonna be this talk show host and do my job. Okay. And here's the way I look at it. I almost look at this as a win-win for almost everybody, right? You've got Microsoft. They get the Activision deal done. They're gonna get those games that we know eventually going to Game Pass within the next year or two. Okay, that's all great. Everything's good. PlayStation, on the other hand, doesn't lose the major games that they wanted to have anyways. They have 10 plus years. Plus, it also does kind of put a little bit of a spark. And I know some people will say, Mooch, no, they're not going to do that. That's fine. I want to hear the other side of it. But maybe it puts a spark. And I've said this on the show, not just about going out there and just buying willy-nilly anybody that's out there. That's not what we're talking about. There's only so much talent and there's only so much IP out there. If you want to acquire, you've got to kind of strike. Because as you can see, Microsoft has already grabbed ABK and they've already grabbed Bethesda. Okay? So those two are already out there, ZeniMax, if you will. So my point being here, now Persona, I want to get your take on it. I'm trying to come in and say, I'm going right down the middle. I'm saying this is good for Xbox for obvious reasons, but it does kind of maybe light a spark underneath Sony to say one of two things. You want to continue to build, let's just say organically and grabbing certain talent and making your own studio? Fine, get started, get going. Or maybe you do need to either start investing in purchasing IP from like a Konami, because saying they're going to buy Konami or buy Capcom, I think that's just too far out for me to say something like that. But there's maybe some IP that they've been working with and they can grab some talented developers and grab some IP and start doing something, again, organically more on the PlayStation side internally. Because Microsoft is not really holding back Persona. They're going out there, they're opening their wallet, and they're buying big time. So Persona, where are you on the news that hit today and possibly what you see is going to transpire as far as Call of Duty, the games, and what Sony might do?
Yeah, those are great questions, man. So first off, big congrats to Microsoft for, locking down one of the biggest publishers in the industry. I think with something like this, you have to respect the power play that Microsoft is doing with trying to lock down something of this caliber to put themselves in a better position gaming wise, albeit first party, third party, or whatever they plan to do in the future, but also in the name of Game Pass to get themselves a foothold within the industry that is in a much better position than where they're at now. So shout out to them for that. I think when it comes to PlayStation, these are things that I've been talking about since the ZeniMax acquisition, right? So for PlayStation, we know that PlayStation makes some of the most high quality games in the industry. Very few developers can match that from a third party perspective. But when it comes to this acquisition, Call of Duty is a big player for PlayStation, right? They make a lot of money from COD, from the microtransactions and things like that, the exclusive deals and all these other different things that now that is off the table. Now, Call of Duty isn't off the table, but the leverage, or not leverage, but the business that you conduct with Activision is now off the table because now you have to go through Microsoft, and Microsoft isn't going to allow they're not going to allow those exclusive deals and things like that. The silver lining is Call of Duty is still going to remain on PlayStation for 10 plus years, give or take. But for PlayStation, I don't like, it's not a guarantee, right? After those 10 years, anything can happen, or within those 10 years, they can go to a bi-yearly or whatever. There's too many things that can happen now that jeopardizes that definitive cash flow that PlayStation had. In the interim, I do think that PlayStation should be looking at a publisher of their own. Now, I'm not talking Take-Two and all this outlandish stuff that people are saying. PlayStation doesn't have the money to really go toe-to-toe with Microsoft when it comes to acquisitions. They just cannot do that. They just can't. But I do think PlayStation does have the ability to lock down a specific area of the market with JRPGs, with some of the more Japanese-centric publishers that they've been aligning themselves with now, and it makes sense with their brand and the business. So for Capcom, Street Fighter is one of the biggest fighting games of all time. It's very, very popular at EVO, and who owns EVO? PlayStation. So aligning yourself with someone like a Capcom makes sense. Square Enix makes sense because Final Fantasy has a long-standing relationship with PlayStation since PS1, and a lot of their other IPs are very synonymous with PlayStation. So it makes sense for them to kind of go for one of those two if we're talking publishers. To say that PlayStation doesn't need to make an acquisition the size of a publisher at this point would be foolish, because now Microsoft is 2 publishers down within the industry. The dynamics of the industry is changing so much. You can't just ignore it anymore. You just can't.
Yep.
So I'm not saying buy the industry like Microsoft. I'm not saying even, go for the highest thing, but I do think you need to lock down ones where you've already established a long relationship and you can solidify that and make sure that that's not jeopardized in the future.
Persona, to be honest with you, that's how you debate, and you can just walk off the stage right there. That was that was beautifully put. Beautifully put. I agree with everything you said. Doc, I got to be honest with you. Same questions to you. I'll say them again. Really, again, the only caveat I would say, Doc, is I want to hear why you're excited, where the excitement's coming from. What does this give you after now this is finally done after 2 years? And what do you think Sony has to do to kind of combat it? Do they have to do, like Persona say, do they have to start taking this a bit more serious now? They have to go out there. They've got to take this serious, because you've got Microsoft, you got Tencent, you got, I know Embracer's laying off and not doing their due diligence, but they are a big time buyer out there as well. What do you think, Doc? What did you think earlier today when you heard the news, and where are you with the way the industry's kind of going?
Okay, man. So first off, let me say you don't even have to repeat the questions, because Persona answered that perfectly.
Yeah.
Man. He just dismantled me right now. I was gonna come in here with a little bit of ignorance and happiness and everything, but he went and spoke straight. He spoke facts. He spoke truth. Okay, so I'm actually really glad that he doesn't see it the same way that a lot of other PlayStation fans out there, that thinking that Sony doesn't need to do anything, that this is perfectly fine and that this is not going to affect Sony in any way. So I'm glad that he was able to say that, and I agree with everything that he said. Now, for me, as far as where my excitement comes from, it's from one simple thing. I like to play games, and I like to play games via a subscription service. Now, I know that's not popular. I know that's not the popular thing to say. I understand people like to buy their games, but I'm just letting you know how I like to game. And this means that more games are going to come to my subscription service of choice. Doesn't mean that I'm going to play every single game. Doesn't mean that at all, but still more games. The more games, the better. So that's why I'm excited about this. Now, I am a first-person shooter fan, so why not bring all the Call of Duties into it? Okay. Now, the other thing that came out from all of this when it first started that I didn't even know, I didn't even realize because I don't follow the money like that, is that Call of Duty was a big reason why Sony was able to make those big AAA blockbuster games and all that other stuff, according to Sony, right? According to them. How true that is, I don't know. Maybe they were saying that just so that the deal wouldn't go through. Who knows? But if that is true, and now part of that revenue is going to go to the Xbox brand, then we can all be honest here, since Persona was honest, and we can all admit that Microsoft needs help in making third party, in making AAA bangers and all that other stuff, okay? Now, the one thing that I will give Sony is this, right? Money cannot translate into talent. And for whatever reason, Sony has a keen eye in making relationship with developers and publishers that just know either how to use their hardware or just more have more talent or whatever the case may be. But yeah, their games look beautiful, their games look phenomenal, and their games run great, and their games are polished. So from that standpoint, I can't deny that Sony has quality games, and I've said that before on my own channel. No, I have no shame in my game. Now, the question is, how enjoyable are those games? And that's obviously to each person's preference. And since I do prefer Xbox more, I don't think anybody will deny that. I tend to like Xbox games a lot better. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the quality is the same. That would be foolish. That would be foolish of me. Mm-hmm. So, I'm trying to be too long-winded. What I'm going to say is this is what Sony needs to do. They need to figure out a way to replace the money that was coming in from Call of Duty. Okay? and they need to figure out a way to up the amount of AAA bangers that they produce, because that's what they're known for. That's what I would like. I want Sony to continue giving me those experiences that move me, those experiences that I care about, those experiences that are storytelling. That's what I want. I want to stop seeing them do remasters and remakes and all that other stuff. I'm actually not too excited about these live service games, but I understand that might be the way that they combat this Activision duty deal, whatever the case may be. They can't rely that Microsoft is going to continue playing forever after these 10 years are over. They've won this generation. They know this. This generation is done. Now it's already about what's going to happen next. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, and Doc, that was well said as well. I got to say, the only thing I would say, my caveat, you say you like subscription services. I mean, PlayStation Plus offers like 800 games in their catalog. So, I mean, you could enjoy that as well. And the other part that you said, they're going to have to make up that delta of the money that they're not making with Call of Duty. Assuming not everybody from PlayStation runs right over to Game Pass, which I don't think you'll see, especially right away. They're still getting their 30%. They're still going to make money off of the packs and skins and things that you buy. You still get that on that platform. So they're really still making that 30%. They were never making more than that. So, I mean, the way they would have to make up that delta big time is if everybody literally floods over to Microsoft's platform to play the game. And again, like I said, this year it doesn't happen. Next, and you look at the wording, it's interesting how the wording came out of Activision when they put that statement out. I think it was a week ago. They said, not this year will you see Diablo 4 or Call of Duty, but he said certain games will come starting next year. So the older games might come next year. Not even really sure yet if we'll see the 2024 version go day and date. More than likely, yes, but not necessarily. So, Nova, when you hear what Persona said, you hear what Doc said. Doc threw some ideas out there too, and some valid concerns. Nova, where are you on today's absolute, like, just it's been like a massacre on Twitter. It's just been all over the place. Everything's going on at once. Nova, where are you on all of this?
I'm just glad the damn thing's done. So we can stop fucking talking about it. It's been like 2 years of talking about the thing, but yeah, like they both said, I mean, it's you can't ignore the magnitude of the situation. Like, ABK is a massive publisher, and so far all PlayStation has acquired is really Bungie, and Bungie is not even to the same size as what ZeniMax gave Xbox. So not PlayStation doesn't necessarily need to go out and do anything. Maybe they can survive just doing what they're doing, but I think at this point it's their hands kind of being forced, because it's either you acquire something or you leave shit on the table for Xbox to just fucking come gobble up. You know, it's hungry hippos. Bitch, your hippo needs to start eating some shit, because before you know it, there's no pellets left for you to eat. The other hippos have eaten everything. So they have to acquire something. In terms of what they acquire or the size of what they acquire, I have no idea. Like, do they go with something like a Square or a Capcom? Maybe, but at the same time, they don't really have a problem when it comes to that region of the world. Like in Japan, PlayStation sells no problem. Xbox has a problem selling there. So do they target that demographic where they're already doing well, or do they try to target something that's going to be a little more broad in range and going to target more areas? At the end of the day, I have no idea,
No, and I understand. That's the great part about this debate right here. And BRAP, I'll save God Emperor Sofa Kings, who is absolutely a tyrant on Twitter today. I love the guy dearly, but he never leaves me alone. The great God Emperor Sofa King, he says, Sony's last words after ABK closed. I'm not feeling too good, Mr. Stark. So BRAP, you've heard shout out to God Emperor Sofa King. BRAP, where are you on all of this today? I know that you have some strong opinions on not necessarily the top level stuff. You've kind of peeled the onion back, and you're looking at this as what this could lead to, the industry changing effects that are going on, not just because of the ABK deal, but even if Sony starts buying a lot and another team starts buying a lot, how this can really, change things down the road. BRAP, what do you think?
Yeah, I've never been big on mass consolidation. I mean, I understand consolidation is going to happen, but my issue is when, and not just in gaming, we see really like large tech companies start acquiring things outside of their, what areas that they traditionally operate in. I mean, I know Microsoft's in gaming, and they have been for a long time, but but they are trying to make it really so you have to go through them at some point. Any interaction with video games. I mean, you kind of have to do that already if you game on PC with the OS and everything. But they really want to dominate the marketplace, and I get it. I mean, they've invested a lot of money into this acquisition. $70 billion is a lot of money. It's interesting. They spent $70 billion. They may be slightly below PlayStation in terms of revenue, even with the $70 billion acquisition of Activision. But I think Sony, I mean, I think the natural jerk reaction, if you're Sony, is probably acquisitions. I don't think they'll buy a publisher. I could be wrong. Maybe if they never say never. I mean, I guess if a good deal came up they couldn't pass on that made sense for them, I think they would do it. But I would imagine they're still going to acquire smaller studios that make sense. Sean Layden just said something today. And I don't know if he said it on your show, Persona, but I think he actually did when you guys had him on.
Yes, he did.
He talked about the challenges with acquisition. He said the biggest challenge with acquisition is integration. And he's spot on. I mean, I've been to 3 acquisitions. Integration and the meshing of two of entirely different cultures is really challenging. Don't be surprised if you see a lot of people leaving Activision because of this merger acquisition going through. That tends to be something that happens anytime you see these acquisitions go through. And with that, institutional knowledge goes out the door. That's not easy to replace right away. And the integration piece is always challenging. That Sean Layden said it on Persona Show. He said, "Look, when these mergers don't work out, it's because of that integration just didn't pan out. You had companies that were just on 2 different wavelengths. So it's going to be curious to see how that plays out with this acquisition. But I don't think like Sony needs to go out and go gangbusters and just start acquiring mad companies. I think they'll acquire some more, but I still think they'll be strategic about it. And I think they'll and they kind of have been strategic. I mean, Bungie thing's kind of interesting the way that happened. I mean, granted there was a relationship there. But I still think they're going to work with partners, build relationships, and if it makes sense, acquire those studios that they built those relationships with. It's still grow. I don't want to say organically, but still grow through that method. I don't think they're going to go out and try to buy an EA. Again, never say never. But I don't think as consumers we want this arms race in terms of acquisitions of platform holders of big publishers, because that leads to further consolidation. That leads to further gatekeeping to consumer choice. And that's when I talked about the shitification of gaming, which, if you don't mind me, Mooch, I just want to read what that is real quick.
Sure, please.
So basically, the shitification, if nobody's followed Cory Doctorow and Choke Point Capitalism, I would encourage everyone to check that out. It's an economic theory on capitalism, and really it applies to the big 6 now. I would throw NVIDIA now. It used to be the big 5 in tech, but NVIDIA is now $1 trillion company.
Yep.
So we can refer to them as the big 6. But essentially what shitification is first they're good to their users. Then they abuse their users to make things better for their business customers. Finally, they abuse those business customers to claw back all the value for themselves. Shitification results from the convergence of 2 things: the power of platform owners to change how their platformers to change how their platforms extract value from users, and the nature of the 2-sided markets, where the platform sits between buyers and sellers, holding each hostage to the other, and then raking off an even larger share of the value that passes between them. And we see this today with Amazon. Amazon's probably
BRAP, can you break that down for us, man, for simple folks?
So think of
inner city schools.
Yeah,
no, Doc,
for that definition.
Yeah, Doc. So think of Amazon, where Amazon is the Amazon store, and they have one of the things that Amazon did was they presented this idea of value to consumers, right? So they lock you in. You're like, oh, Amazon's great. They free deliveries, all this other stuff, right? And then they say to the suppliers, oh, you know what? Hey, we got all these consumers, these customers here that can access your stuff you're selling, and it's going to be great. And then they say, you know what? Fuck you, pay me. You want access to these customers? You got to pay us. Customers, you want access to speed to more, to more products or services or faster delivery? Pay me. And then what Amazon does and what they've done recently is now they're actually creating their own through either acquisition, mostly through acquisition. They're creating their own products to compete against these outside vendors who they initially attracted to their platform, giving them access to this large consumer base. And now basically, which is why Activision is being investigated by the FTC now, why they're being investigated by the European Union for anti-competitive behavior. Basically, what Amazon is doing is they're giving preferential treatment to their own products in the search tool. When people search for specific products, the Amazon products are bumped up as first, unless you pay as a third-party vendor, you pay a higher tier to get your stuff bumped up. So that's really kind of probably the easiest example of enshittification.
Gotcha.
But when I think of Game Pass, and I think about the acquisitions and consolidation in gaming, it makes me think of the enshittification of gaming, and that's why I tweeted that out today.
So my thing. So I agree with BRAP in regards to consolidation, right? I do think that consolidation within the industry on a mass scale, right? I'm not talking small publishers here and there or whatever, not that, but on a mass scale of the caliber of what we're seeing now is something that could either make or break the industry in the long term, right? But in PlayStation's case, I just want to point it out like this: why, as bad as we think it is, and listen, I agree, and Sean Layden is speaking the truth, and I believe in what Sean Layden is saying. We're at a point now within gaming, within the game industry, where you can't take that road anymore, because what we're seeing happen now is two relationships now severed by Microsoft with PlayStation when it comes to how PlayStation was doing business. Those timed exclusive deals, timed, all these other things in that relationship building. A lot of that is now out the door thanks to money, thanks to acquisitions. So when it comes to how PlayStation needs to holistically look at the industry and look at their strategy going forward, yes, they do have strong relationships with Square. Yes, they do have strong relationships with Capcom and other people within the industry. But those relationships can also easily be severed with money and acquisitions.
That's right.
Yeah, those relationships can easily be severed with acquisitions as well, which then kills their strategy of what they were doing to begin with. Which is why I say they need to acquire one of these so that relationship can never be jeopardized or hurt.
Persona, do you have me blocked on Twitter?
What?
Do you have me blocked on Twitter? Because this is a great take, and I don't see no other PlayStation fans having a take like this. I hope more PlayStation fans are listening to you, because everybody on my Twitter feed is acting like this means nothing. Like, so what? You get to play Call of Duty, I get to play Call of Duty, it means nothing. And I'm like, okay, you're not seeing it. You're not seeing it, but okay.
Doc,
I think
it's not. It means it's kind of both, though. If I could just chime in, BRAP, I'll give you the mic in a second.
Yeah,
Doc, you're right with what Persona's saying. He's taking it serious.
Right.
But what you're hearing from people online is they're just saying to you, as far as day-to-day gaming goes, the game that they're talking, the game that's the biggest game of this franchise that everyone's talking is Call of Duty. Call of Duty's still on PlayStation for the next 10 years minimum. So what they're saying is, I don't feel
it's now severed.
It is severed.
How PlayStation was doing business with Activision, how PlayStation was doing business with Call of Duty is now jeopardized and has been severed.
Yes.
And now Microsoft controls how you will do business when it comes to Call of Duty. So your strategy is now gone.
That's correct.
Yeah. And I don't think like you said, Mooch, like I don't think it's like, I think it's a big deal in the sense that I mean, like in terms of the day to day, you're right, Mooch, like it doesn't really change anything. It doesn't really change the landscape. It won't for the next 10 plus years. Maybe it may not even change the landscape after that. I think that just depends on where Microsoft is. They want to hit 130 million Game Pass subscribers by I believe it's 2030. And this is per Phil Spencer's testimony under oath, where he's like, if we don't hit 130 million, we may be having a different conversation in 2030 about the Xbox business, meaning like it may not be around. But I think the negative impact, I think, is really potentially to consumers, like where if we start seeing an arms race in gaming, we see mass consolidation where the platform holders hold content, and we look at what happened in Hollywood with the strike, the actors, the writer strike. A lot of that's a byproduct of some of the consolidation that's happened by platformers, specifically Netflix, with movies, and that they're not being compensated with. Even though with the changing economics, the way they're compensated hasn't changed, and we're seeing the to the consumer, we're seeing the increase of prices. We're seeing Disney raise prices. We're seeing Netflix raise prices. Again, this goes back to gentrification. But I think that's the big thing I think people should really be concerned about, because we have examples of other industries where there's been mass consolidation that really haven't benefited consumers. I mean, you talk about the ISP providers here in the US. I mean, there's consolidation there. Have we seen a benefit? No. You look at healthcare in this country. Have we seen a benefit from that? No. So and I've been very vocal about that. That is my concern. And that's why I was against this deal going through, because I just don't think it's good for consumers in the long run.
In the long run, and that's the key part is in the long run.
Can I chime in on this?
What does that mean?
Well,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Basher. But we'll get Doc. Don't lose that train of thought. But go ahead, Basher. And welcome Gamers Gamut and Basher to the show. By the way, go ahead, Basher.
Yeah. So I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer, but I'm going to just say this. Everybody has to worry at this point in time. The landscape for me as a whole, my opinion, of course, the landscape of gaming looks pretty dire at this point in time on both ends of the spectrum. Because on one side, you have Sony not being able to keep up with these massive AAA budget titles that they're putting out. And I want to shout out BRAP, his Colin Moriarty episode, where Colin Moriarty got into this, and the fact that the problem we're having here is that consumers are not comfortable with paying $100 a game. But that's literally what you need to pay for the type of budget that is needed for these games that they've fallen in love with, like Last of Us and others, okay? So that's never going to happen because gamers are going to complain. The minute we're already at $70, the minute if they hike the price again, everybody's going to be like, "Oh God, what is happening?" But the thing is that you get what you pay for, right? So Sony has been coming out of pocket to put these games out. Now what they're doing is what Jim Ryan put together was a way for them to make money in a different manner, and he forced that manner upon studios that are not used to doing that. In this case, what would be Naughty Dog. So Naughty Dog had to put together a multiplayer game like Factions, and they've never done anything like that. So that's why they got Bungie involved, right? Now you have Microsoft. Microsoft's acquiring everybody because they do not really have a goalpost to hit. So what they're doing is they're trying to acquire as many people as possible to make money with Game Pass. They don't care if they sell systems. They want to sell Game Pass.
Say that again, please, for everyone in the back.
So what we're looking at right now is a dire situation on both fronts in regards to gaming as a whole. And when it comes to Call of Duty, I hear a lot of people in this chat saying, "Oh, 10 years, 10 years, 10 years, 10 years." The only thing, and I can tell you this firsthand, the only thing that Activision has promised at this moment in time is that Modern Warfare 3 and Diablo will not be on Game Pass this year, which means the next Call of Duty will be, which means that will give an advantage to Microsoft when it comes to a juggernaut like Call of Duty, right? So, and that is what worries me the most, because you have a company, and I'll say this, that has issues basically holding responsibility of their companies underneath them. They're like Blizzard, Activision, all these other companies. And what you're going to have is you're going to have just a fucking mess at the end of the day. You're going to have everybody racing to make money. You're going to trying desperately to do so. And you're going to have a situation where we have right now, where you have like 30 different streaming platforms all giving us garbage content because all they care about at the end of the day is making money, because it's a business. So the only way you're going to get Sony to be at where all these people dream about, which is like the AAA titles that everybody loves, like The Last of Us. That's not going to happen until you raise prices on games, because Sony's not making money on those AAA titles like that. They make it in the beginning, but Last of Us right now, Last of Us Part 2, that shit dropped like a missile after it sold gangbusters in the beginning, and then it went straight to the fucking bargain bin. Because why? Because everybody beat the game, traded in, and moved on. So Sony is trying to take a different approach now. They're trying to do something they've never really done before, and that's risky in its own regard. And yes, it's completely correct right now that this Activision and Blizzard deal has massive implications on Sony. And if I was Sony right now, what I would do, I would buy Square Enix, I would buy Ubisoft, I would buy all these companies that have potential in single player experiences and just blow them out of the water. That's what I would do. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Damn, that was good. Damn, that was good. Who's that, Bugmaster?
What you just described and what Colin
What's his
said
YouTube channel?
on our show was the race to the bottom, and I thought it was a great point, and that's my concern too. Like, and Colin said this. By the way, shameless plug. If you guys haven't checked the episode of BRAP with Colin Moretti, I highly
great episode. Great episode.
Yeah,
I watched the whole thing.
But he said it like it's time for gamers to put their money where their mouth is, and I don't disagree. I mean, like if you want AAA games, what's like other consumer goods? I don't know why we do this in gaming. Like in gaming, we want like, and again, like you have one company that is, or one particular community that feels entitled they should get $70 games at bargain bin prices. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. And like if you want these big AAA experiences, you have to pay for them. I mean,
get what you pay for.
Yeah, you get what you pay for. The CFO of Capcom, or maybe it was the CEO of Capcom, Tokyo Game Show, came out and said like the $70 thing, like that's even an outdated price point at this point for AAA games.
Hey, Sean Lade was right. Sean Lade
listen to me. It is a very, very, for gamers as a whole, and I'm talking like hardcore gamers, you should be terrified right now at the scenario to which Game Pass and Netflix type streaming services conquer the gaming market, because that is going to basically put oversaturation of bullshit content.
Well, it's
filler content.
It's a commoditization of gaming, and I don't want that.
My biggest concern with the whole thing is I don't see how we can continue to have these big AAA games with the budgets that they currently have if they're in a subscription service like Game Pass.
Yep.
Because
you can't.
There's no way they're making their budgets back. So the only thing that's going to happen, or the only thing that can happen, is that we're going to get games that have reduced budgets. They're going to be smaller games, lower quality games filled with microtransactions and subsidized, filled with this and that. And it's like that's.
Another thing that's concerning is that you have all these big developers coming out saying that Game Pass is not sustainable. And then you have in these articles these little small indie companies like, yeah, well, Game Pass is great. It made my company money, and again, of course it did, because you're literally a single A or double A company that has no budget, and you got paid a check by Microsoft to put your game on there, and people are going to see it that probably wouldn't have. So of course you're going to be ecstatic about it.
I got a question then. Now hold on, because we're attacking Game Pass. We're attacking Game Pass. So hold on now.
Hold on, Doc. Call of Duty are $100+ million budget games. We're going to get that released every year into Game Pass. How is it going to make its money back? And that's just one game. Not to mention all the other, your Avoweds, your Fables, your Perfect Darks. These big AAA games are all going to release into a subscription.
I don't think for 1 second. I don't think for 1 second. And this is my honest opinion, I don't think for 1 second Sony stands a chance when it comes to the money race with Microsoft. Because Microsoft has so much fucking money, and Sony makes money on their gaming department. They don't make money on like their TVs, maybe a little bit, but everything else is fallen by the wayside. So for them to go out and say, here, take my money, take my money, take my money, take my money, and buy all these things, you know what kind of risk that is for them? It's a huge risk. While in Microsoft, they have cloud, they have Azure, they have Windows, it's Microsoft. So it's like basically David and Goliath. You can't compete.
And Budmaster, you're talking about that's kind of what I talked about with this deal. Like what you just described is Microsoft leveraging adjacencies. Those are costs. Those aren't P&L costs that like Xbox has to absorb. Sony would have to absorb those costs. They don't have a cloud infrastructure. They have to go through AWS through Amazon. They have to pay for that. Xbox doesn't. And that's what I was trying to explain to people when this deal was going through. And I don't know, I guess it just didn't resonate for some reason.
Money talks, bullshit walks. That's it. That's all.
Can I just ask a question, please?
Sure, Doc. What do you got?
Okay, I appreciate it. Okay, so we just said that these AAA games should cost more than $70, right? If we want these games. So
according to the industry.
Okay,
not us.
Right. Okay. Right. According to the industry, right, should cost more than $70, and we already established, and I agree, most gamers are gonna be like, nah, I'm not paying more than $70. We already complained about the $70,
Right.
so we're not gonna get these AAA games. Okay,
That's right.
Then we're also saying that these AAA games aren't gonna come to the subscription services as well because they're not gonna be able to make money off of the subscription service. But then we also just said that Microsoft can afford to take that because they have a shitload of money. So my question is, if we want these AAA games, why is the subscription service the problem if Microsoft is already fronting the bill on the front? What is the problem?
The subscription service, the subscription service is the problem because it creates a precedence that they want people to be acclimated to. So those AAA experiences, they go away once that acclimation takes place. Where you look at like what you're looking at every single day at a Game Pass, and what you used to look at a console putting out AAA titles like Horizon, like Last of Us, like all these games.
Doc,
Basher,
you
let
see
me-
it
let me
already
give
when
Doc-
people are like, "Oh, I'll just wait for it to go on Game Pass."
Doc,
Correct, exactly.
Doc, when was the last time you were like, "Yo, dude, you got to check out this insane movie on Netflix"? Not in a long
I mean,
time.
people-
because you know why?
Whoa.
They've gotten us right. Basher said it. What they do is they started off by going to get Marvel, right? Then they had.
Wait, hold on. I can
then
answer
they
that
got rid of-
question. Hold
then
on.
they
We're
got- okay,
gonna
what?
sit here and pretend that
Go
we
ahead.
haven't recommended series to people on Netflix. Like no one
I didn't say
recommended
series.
Dave
Oh,
Chappelle
this is-
special to
what
people
movies-
on
I said what
Netflix.
movie.
Like no one
Dave
recommends
Chappelle-
music.
Let me
Dave Chappelle is not Game of Thrones, sir.
Hold on.
Let me
Exactly.
say this. Let me say this.
It's getting
So
crazy now.
One thing.
No,
No,
it's
so
not.
so
And
And I bet you everyone got a music subscription service right now on their phone. You don't buy albums. You don't buy movies.
Wait. Okay.
No, this
so
is
wait, hold on.
Crossfire, right? This is Crossfire. We're going now.
No, I got you, but this is the point that I want to make.
Needed 220 million subscribers just to get out of debt, and then immediately went back into debt. They needed 220 million subscribers, and they're still in debt.
I mean, Doc,
So this is
Persona,
I wanna hear Persona. Go
I wanna
ahead.
hear Persona. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so I think when people tend to make the argument using music or movies or entertainment, I don't think they truly understand the landscape of both of those industries when they make the argument in favor of that for gaming. Because if you were following again what's going on with SAG-AFTRA, you wouldn't be using the movie industry as your argument.
Thank
if we're
you.
using
Persona.
the music industry, you know, artists have been very vocal for years talking about how streaming services don't pay them enough to even live. They get pennies for their streams, which is why which is why a lot of artists make most of their money off of touring and brand deals. They don't actually make money off the music itself because the streaming services aren't paying out as enough for them to make the money that you would see.
Papi, I'm gonna sound horrible right now.
Hold on. No.
I'm
I promise. Let me just make this final point. It's gonna all come full circle with gaming.
I hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
with the gaming side.
Mhm.
Yes, Microsoft is $1 trillion company, and Microsoft could foot the bill. I agree with you 100%. But the thing that I don't think people understand is when it comes to Microsoft and money, Microsoft is not going to keep putting money into something that's losing them money. They're going to get rid of it or pivot, which is what we found out with a lot of those leaked emails that they were actually going to get rid of Xbox.
No, I think they're going to get rid of
all
they're going to get rid of
and
the
all that shit.
investment.
And the division, the division.
Okay.
But this is
They'll
what I'm
get
saying.
rid of the investment more than anything.
I think the idea of thinking, oh, because Microsoft is $1 trillion corporation, they're just going to keep putting money into something that either isn't growing or isn't making a good ROI.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good mindset to have going into this because Microsoft is not going to do that.
The strategy is not that at the end of the day. The strategy at the end of the day for Microsoft is to get people to get on the train, get Game Pass everywhere, and then cut the investment to which they're making right now in half. Because what they want is they want Game Pass everywhere. They don't want their systems everywhere. They don't want their games everywhere. They don't want their controllers everywhere. They want an application on every single device in the cloud.
Yep.
And that costs nothing to them.
Basher,
so I agree with the Persona. You're stating things that are correct.
And
That they want to make money. That they got trillions of dollars, and that you know what it is. The game plan at the end of the game plan at the end of all of this is not to stay in the console market. It is to stay in the application market.
Yeah, you could see that. You could see that writing on the wall. Anybody could.
Right.
So
Like,
but hold on. Let me.
you're not going to get AAA games from them anymore.
Can you let me? Hold on. Here's a problem though. When am I not going to get AAA games? Because all this fear mongering, right? I have a problem with fear mongering. When am I going to not get AAA games? Because all I know is, hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish, please. Let me finish. Lies of P just came out. Everyone is telling me how amazing that game is.
It's not a AAA game.
That game is on Game Pass. That game is on Game. Starfield just came out. That's on Game Pass.
That is a AAA game. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So tell me when the last AAA game's going to come out.
Starfield is their own game right now. Do you think they made back the budget for Starfield? Well, Starfield they may have because they sold a lot with PC. But
I'm glad you asked that. I'm glad you asked that, Supernova. You asked me, did they make back the budget? Here's the answer. You ready? I don't care if they made back the budget. I'm not consumer. Hold on. Let me finish. You gotta let me finish, please. Let me finish. Let me
I didn't
finish.
even get to finish what I was saying. Go.
Okay, so and then to answer what Persona said, all these artists saying that they're not making money. I'm sorry, I'm the consumer. I don't care. Before there was streaming services, I used to use LimeWire. I used to burn CDs as well. You're gonna tell me I'm the only one that did this? I remember listening to music on the radio with a tape and hitting the record and play at the same time, recording. So am I the only one that did this? No, that's not the way it's going. I'm the consumer. No, I'm the consumer.
Wait. Let me just say
But if everybody did that, then we would be nowhere.
Look at that. No, it's not. That's not true.
I'm going to answer your question, Doc. You're saying why can't you get these AAA games? Why aren't you going to get these AAA games? For the same reason.
No, I'm not. I'm saying for you to tell me when it's going to stop.
I don't know when it's going to stop, but all I know is that right now, Xbox is. Because Microsoft has so much money, they're willing to throw money out there and throw these AAA games out there, knowing they're not going to make their budget back because they're trying to get people into the service. But why can't this sustain? For the same reason you can't go to any all-you-can-eat buffet and get top-tier quality food. Why can't you get top-tier quality food at the all-you-can-eat buffet? Because it's
no
an all-you-can-eat buffet. They cannot afford to give you the best quality filet mignon and the best quality sushi because you paid $20 at the fucking door.
Good analogy.
As much as you can. And yes, they can afford for Starfield to come out now.
That's a horrible analogy because buffets exist and high.
Game Pass is a buffet. And let me finish.
That's fine. Okay, yeah, you're right. My bad. Go ahead. My bad.
Game Pass is just it's okay. Game Pass is just a digital buffet, and right now Microsoft is willing to lose money putting big budget AAA games like Starfield out there, like Halo Infinite, like your Forza Motorsports out there, because they are trying to get people into the service. Phil himself said, the growth on console has stagnated. They need to get people into this fucking system. Like I said, Netflix needed 220 million subs to just be even. Not to be making a fuck ton of money, to just be even. Now, I don't know what the magic number for Xbox is for them to be like, boom, we're good to go. I don't know what that number
Game Pass
is.
subscribers.
But,
Can I? Yeah, go.
They're not there yet. And they're going to do whatever the hell fuck they have to, including spend $69 billion to try to make that happen. But
can I answer Doc's question? Just quick, because he's asking, when am I going to see AAA games again? And I want to make this clear, clarify this. So, I want to say one thing: proprietary software. Okay, the AAA games that Microsoft is releasing they're going to be developed on proprietary software, which means that Microsoft is not footing the bill for what they're using to create these said products, while Sony has to. Okay, that is another big factor involved in this. When you look at, because you could say, oh yeah, what about Starfield? And I could say, you're right, because you got Elder Scrolls and you got all these games down the pipeline, right, that are coming out. But all these games, I'm in development myself, and I can tell you, a lot of it is built in Azure pools. A lot of it is built in pipeline, DevOps, ADO, all these different proprietary software that, guess what, Microsoft owns. So what you're saying, why you're able to get those AAA experiences down the line is not because the situation is different. It's because of the fact that it's like building a car and somebody giving you all the parts of the car for free.
Okay,
that's why you're able to do that.
Sony's going to have the problem making AAA games, not Microsoft.
Correct. Exactly.
Okay.
You know why?
Okay.
Because you know why? You know what Sony uses to develop games?
I like that answer. Go ahead.
PCs. You know what powers PCs?
Oh, I see where you're going. Windows.
So they have to pay for these products to build these games.
Okay, wait. I don't
That is
want
where
Sony
the-
to die either. Hold on. I don't want Sony to die either. Now, hold on now.
Doc, I just want to say something real quick, Doc. Listen to what he just said, because this
Yeah.
is my concern with this acquisition.
Mhm.
So when you start getting a $1 trillion corporation like Microsoft, they start acquiring these billion-dollar publishers. And you listen to what Button Basher just said.
Mhm.
This is where the anti-competitive stuff starts coming into play. because
Exactly.
they can do things that that Nintendo can't do, the other platforms holders can't do.
They hold
So
the
what does that
market.
mean? And so then they rule the market, and then what do? They make it hard for those other competitors to compete, which could lead to less choice for consumers.
Yep.
That is my point. That's always been my point.
All
Thank you for summarizing
okay,
that, Matthew,
okay,
because that's
that
what
was
I've been
great.
saying.
So-
And the other thing,
It's about ROI at the end of the
Yeah,
day,
and
and
the
what you
other-
develop.
and
Bro,
the other thing,
between
and the other
you,
thing too,
Button Master, Supernova, and Persona, man, you guys have flipped this, and I've never seen this from this perspective.
It's just basic business economics at the end of the day.
But let me tell you what I
return on
keep hearing.
investment.
Yeah, but let me
understand
tell you what I keep hearing.
I understand you saying like, I'm the consumer. I don't need to worry about that
Well,
shit.
yeah.
And I agree. Most consumers is like, listen, I don't care. I just want to play the games. But the thing is, I also don't want the quality of the games to change. I don't want the quality of the games
Right.
to go down. And that's why I'm not so much worried about the money side. But that's why I'm looking at the money side like, I don't know if they can continue to do it the way
And
they're doing
Doc,
it and not have it affect the
I
quality.
see.
And Doc,
I see.
Doc.
Listen. I can admit PlayStation makes great games, and now you guys just broke it down as to why this is gonna hurt PlayStation. But I'm telling you right now, maybe I need to
not just PlayStation, by the
No,
way.
No, the
Not just
industry.
PlayStation.
How is it
industry.
gonna? You got no. He just said. You guys just said that
but it's-
Microsoft can afford it.
We use
What are you
PlayStation.
talking about?
We use PlayStation. as the-
PlayStation and Nintendo are in trouble. Microsoft is
No,
fine.
but it's not just them. It's other entrants, future entrants into the gaming space. It makes it harder for other companies, unless you're an Amazon, unless you're a $1 trillion company. To
Yeah, but
get
I'm
into
not worried
gaming.
about other companies. I'm only worried about
But-
PlayStation.
but you should-
PlayStation
but
is
you
the one
should-
that makes the great
you-
AAA bangers, and they're
but
not
you
going to be able to do it
but-
because they don't have
but-
enough money.
But you should be worried about other companies being able to get into the space and compete, because that leads to more choice for consumers.
Like development on games happens in an OS operating system platform on any PC through development processes, right? So that OS is 99.9% of the time a Windows OS. Okay, if you switch to Linux, then the conversation changes. Okay, but right now Windows OS dominates the development field, whether it be Sony, whether it be Nintendo, and of course Microsoft, which is what they own already. So that is why this conversation, when you talk about exactly what BRAP is saying, where it's kind of a conflict of interest, because you have a company like Microsoft stepping into the ring and saying, "Oh yeah, we'll make your guys' games for you, and basically we're going to make them, and we're not going to pay for any kind of work in making them because we own all the software that makes them already." So the return on investment that is the end goal at the end. Where
And
Persona was saying before about, they're gonna worry about business and losing trillions. They're not gonna lose any fucking money, because if they build every game and they own every company, then they're not having to come out of pocket for any hardware to build the set games.
Hey, Basher, let me get the mic for a second. Doc, the one thing I want to say where you might go in the beginning where you're like, how does it affect me? As this happens, what Basher just said and what BRAP broke down, and Microsoft does continue to build and does begin to squeeze the industry, because they can, do you know what happens to your Game Pass? It goes up.
What
It
happens?
goes up in price. You, my friend, will be paying $24.99 at some point in time down the road for Ultimate Game Pass. It's not going to stay 60. It went to $16.99 when they didn't.
Yeah,
even
but
have
hold.
it.
But
No.
that's a value thing. If I still see the value in it, that's still perfectly fine.
But there's
If I still see the
there's no
value in it,
cap.
that's still perfectly fine.
But there's-
Gentlemen, hold on. Right now, I just canceled my Disney Plus subscription because they raised the price. I canceled it not because Disney Plus sucks. It's because I don't see, for me and my family, the value in Disney Plus. We don't watch it enough. We watch more Netflix and more Hulu. If they were to raise the price of Netflix and Hulu to more than what Disney Plus raised the price, I would still continue to pay for it because we use that a lot more. These services, these companies, they're fighting for my money. If you present me with a value, then that's what I'm gonna go with, and I'm gonna go with whatever value's on the market right now. I'm telling you right
But
now,
eventually,
Game
Doc,
Pass has my money.
But if this
$16,
happens-
$17, $18, right now they have my money. I've been gaming more than I've ever gamed. Not only that, but I bought an Asus ROG Ally automatically got Game Pass on it, automatically got games. If I was to buy a PC tomorrow, let's say I got tired of my Xbox Series X, I buy a PC tomorrow, I automatically have a gaming catalog. That value is ridiculous. I subscribe to GeForce Now right now. Automatically have a gaming catalog with GeForce Now because Game Pass that's value.
Doc, you gotta understand something.
Tell me when Game Pass is not gonna be value.
Hold on, real quick. You gotta understand something real quick. Like there are people who want value, want a low barrier, low cost of entry into gaming. There's other people that don't, that want AAA experiences. I'm one of those people. The joke on BRAP is that I only play AAA games, and so they've added 2 A's to BRAP. But I want those experiences. You listen to what Bobby Kotick said.
What are the last 3 games you played?
I just played, actually rolled credits on Phantom Liberty, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. I just wrapped up Starfield. Just played Baldur's Gate.
Starfield's on Game Pass. Thank you.
But I bought it though, because I want to support my devs.
Because you want? Okay, no. You're not gonna do that shit. No.
Because I want because they benefit from that.
Because you want to support your devs.
No, I do.
You think your $70 really matters?
Yes, it does. Because
you think your $70 really matters?
Yes, it does. I want AAA games. And I know what it takes to make AAA games. Like
you bought it from Xbox, right? You didn't buy it from Steam, right? You bought it from Xbox.
No, I bought it on Steam. So
why? Because now that money just got split. Why didn't you buy it on Xbox? And if you wanted to support the developer, the money just got split. You see how a hypocrite you are?
Because first party games all Game Pass. As I learned the hard way, don't run well on PC. They run for some reason.
Then you don't care about the developer. You care about your experience, which is what matters. And I agree with you. The developer still
gets money. Look, my point is
this. Get out of here, bro.
The point is this: there's people that want AAA experiences, and that costs money. There's people that want
a lot of money.
There's people that want that business model, and if that business model goes away, you have a segment of the consumer base that's not going to get what they want, and that's my point. Like they want. There's people you are a different gamer than me, and that's fine. But there's some of us that want AAA experiences. And if you listen to Bobby Kotick, you listen to what Strauss Zednick has said, subscription services can't support that business model. It doesn't make sense.
BRAP, when I ask you this next question, I hope you say no. Are you a Game Pass subscriber?
I am, but I'm not renewing my subscription.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look,
Thank you.
Doc, right now, Doc, there is not a single subscription service that is not deluging money. Like money's just fucking falling out of the side.
They're hemorrhaging.
Supernova, you know I don't care about that, Supernova.
I understand, but you said you care about your quality.
Microsoft does, though. Microsoft does care. They can't do this forever.
You said you care about your quality. You also said you care about your value. And right now, you can't argue against the value of Game Pass. Nobody can say Game Pass isn't a great value. This is the thing, and we've even seen the numbers in the leaked documents. What was it? 130 million subs or something that Phil said he wants to get to. They need to.
No, they have to get to 130.
Right.
He said they have to, or else Xbox is not going to be business.
If they don't get the subscribers to, like right now, great. They just acquired ABK. If this does not move the needle to where the subscriber count for Game Pass grows exponentially, 2 things are going to happen. Either Game Pass is going to go up in price, or your games are going to go down in quality. And
it's definitely going to move the needle.
Maybe it probably will.
And Nova,
it's definitive at this point. You have Call of Duty in Game Pass right now. That is, even if you're a dum who walks around and you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, just because you don't know, you're not a huge in-tune gamer like all of us are at the end of the day, I presume. Okay, you're going to hear, oh, Call of Duty, oh, Xbox bought them, oh, it's on Xbox now, oh, it's on Game Pass. I'm going to go buy an Xbox, or I'm going to get a Game Pass immediately.
Right.
That's how it works at the end of the day.
I don't think it's not going to move the needle, right? The needle is obviously going to move. The thing is, to what degree? How much?
Yeah, is it substantial?
Is it going to get to a
quadruple
point to where they are making enough money from Game Pass to continue to make Call of Duty at the same level quality that it is, to make at the same quality level, and to like that's where I'm concerned. Like I don't want the quality of games to go down, and I don't want the price of the services.
Here's what's going to happen. I'll tell you right now. This is going to happen. Call of Duty it's going to move forward that way, and then we're going to get less. We're going to get less games on Game Pass, but we're going to get bigger games on Game Pass that they own. That's what's going to happen at the end of the day.
Let me ask you guys a question. So let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you guys a question real quick. So,
y'all just heard what he
Doc,
said, right? So I'm gonna say this one
Doc,
thing, right? Everyone on this panel, right, is a gamer first, right? And then I think Button Bash is the only one that actually does something for the industry gaming wise. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so if that's correct, then everyone else should be talking from a gamer's perspective. I don't understand why everyone else doesn't do that. I'm talking from a game. Explain to me why you guys have been trying for 3 years to explain to me why Game Pass is bad.
Doc. I didn't say it's bad, but I am looking at it from a gamer perspective because I am worrying about the quality of the games going forward. Going down. How is that not a gamer perspective? Like Starfield. If the next Bethesda game gets its budget cut by 60% or 40%, is that a positive?
Can I
is that a positive?
Yeah, let me get Persona in here. Go ahead, Persona. I haven't been able to say anything either. Go ahead, Persona. I hear you.
Yeah, no. I think it's disingenuous to say, "Oh, as a gamer, you should only care about the games." Right? As a gamer, I can I finish? I got you. What I'm going to say is, as a gamer, I also care about the hobby. I care about supporting my hobby. You know, for me, gaming is a hobby that I've been supporting for years. And when it comes to things being in jeopardy, that stuff is worrisome, right? I love the games just as much as you, Doc Dart. I love the games as much as anybody. I'm out here buying games, playing games, all that stuff. But at the same time, if there's something that could potentially jeopardize the hobby that I've been supporting for God knows how long, I don't think it's disingenuous. I don't think it's wrong to be worried about that. You get what I'm saying? Because I from your perspective, you know, I only care about the games. Who cares about if a developer makes money? Who cares if the game, like, you know, if that's how you feel and how you thinking, that's your prerogative. But for me, looking at everything holistically, it's a bit worrying, man.
Bro,
it's Microsoft's problem right now.
And I'm not saying that everything is
problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, you know, gaming is terrible or whatever, but
right. That's
listen,
what I'm
man.
saying, we're doing good right now in gaming.
Yeah, yes, we are. We're doing good right now, but you're also seeing things.
We're doing good and bad too. Actually, we're doing good and bad because people talked about quality. How many of these games are coming out broken? It's arguably, you can argue that it's better for you to play the game 6 months or a year later after they done patched it all up. Somebody mentioned Cyberpunk 77. The fact that we glorify Cyberpunk 77 drives me freaking crazy.
And Doc, that wasn't
Game Pass fault.
That's already $50-60 million budget games, and they're not.
That wasn't Game Pass fault. Jedi Survivor not running well on PC. That wasn't Game Pass fault. So the fear mongering is what bothers me, guys.
Doc,
like
right now,
hold on. But that argument has. But I don't understand how Jedi Survivor running bad has to do with, you know, the sustainability of AAA gaming. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, what does Jedi Survivor running bad have to do with this conversation specifically?
That the qualities of games are already bad. Doc, and it has nothing to do with Game Pass. If you want to argue that, you can't blame it on Game Pass.
Let me ask you a simple question, Doc. If, let's say hypothetically in the future, Xbox has not gotten the subs to grow enough, and then they go to publishers like, you know, Bethesda, or they go to their Activision and say, listen, guys, all your games going forward, budget, Scott, you got to shave 30% off the budgets of those games. Do you see that as a positive? That's all I'm saying, because I don't see that as a positive. Well, I'm not saying that will happen. I'm just worried that is a possibility.
I also want to say,
wait. This is my thing then. Okay, so yeah, the quality is bad at AAA gaming now, right? When it comes to certain games, are you saying that that's going to get better in a subscription service?
All I'm saying is
no, because you've been very vocal about, oh well, being in the services is going to hurt it, blah blah blah. If AAA gaming right now is already in a bad place, how much better do you expect it to be in a subsidized service like in a subscription service for gaming?
Bingo.
It's already bad now. If there's less money,
I'm going to give you the right answer. I'm going to give you the right answer. You ready? You ready for the right answer?
Yep.
I don't know, but I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about what I'm playing right now. The same way that there was plenty of people that were Sega Dreamcast fans that loved the Sega platform, and Sega freaking died. Do you think they stopped gaming because Sega died?
I think the argument that Persona's making to you right now is not the fact of what you care about right now, but the fact of what you're not going to be able to care about in the future.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, exactly. if AAA gaming is bad now, from quality wise, from all that other stuff, fine. There's definitely games releasing buggy and having issues and all that. I personally don't think that would get better if the bar is a subscription service. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not saying that subscription services don't have their place in gaming. All I'm saying is if the focus is AAA gaming, and if the focus is, oh yeah, we want big banger AAA games, but the landscape of AAA gaming right now is bad or is not as good when it comes to the quality and things like that, I don't know how much better that quality would be if the bar is a subsidized subscription service. That's all I'm saying.
I'm probably going to say something that's going to get me in trouble, but I'll say it anyway. I think that each one of these businesses, and I'm going to say this, I don't think that Sony really gives a shit about giving you guys AAA titles. Just like Microsoft doesn't give a shit about giving you exclusives. I think that they're all looking for ways to make as much money as possible and doing the least workload possible. Let me finish.
They're licking their chops, looking at how much money these dudes make in the mobile space.
So you're looking at this, right? Sony wants to release remasters, and the more we buy those remasters, the more they're going to do that because it costs them a lot to make those remasters. Microsoft, but that's the point, right? At the end of the day, that we're looking at is that. You can't look at a company like Sony who's trying to make a mark in the industry, and they have for the past decade or so forth, okay? And they keep putting out these massive AAA titles that keep costing more and more and more and more and more and more and more. Their goal at the end of the day is say, okay, we're going to release a Spider-Man once every whatever, and then we're going to just keep fucking remastering it and keep selling it, and people are going to keep buying it. It's to the point where if you're a gamer, the best thing you could do at this moment in time is not buy the bullshit. It's not step into the bullshit. It's to counter it and be like, you know what? I'm not going to go buy this game that's remastered and just reskinned, but it's the same fucking game. I'm going to wait until they do something that's worth my time. And when you ask that question and you put that out there, you have to expect, as gamers, that if you want those Last of Us, if you want those Days Gone experiences, if you want those experience Horizon Zero Dawn, you're going to have to pay more money if you want that developer to pay attention.
Let me make another point here because I haven't really got a chance. I've been taking a lot of this and digesting it. Doc, the one thing that you have to understand, though, too, you say you don't care and you just scream out, you know, cheaper value, it's less money, Okay, my thing about this is that you look at what you've been getting in Game Pass, you've gotten Redfall, you've gotten Bethesda. Now, listen, this is
but Game Pass isn't to blame for that.
I'm not.
Thank you, Supernova. Thank you.
This is what
in development before. Come on now. Thank you, Supernova.
This is what the service is giving you. They're pushing the games out, whether they're done or they're not. That is part of this Game Pass.
Oh my God.
Yes, it is. Doc, let me talk for a minute. Relax. Take a seat. Listen to me for a second, please. All right. What I'm trying to say is this. You also have what's arguably one of Bethesda's worst games to come out on Game Pass in Starfield. The ratings keep dropping as the days go by.
Oh my
Okay. Where's the rest of the Halo campaign from Halo Infinite? I was told that I had people on the show when Halo came out. Don't worry, Mooch. It's a big, open, vast area because the rest of the story has to be filled in. Nothing's there. Gears has dropped off the face of the earth. Gears multiplayer's dead. Okay, when is it? So what you're saying, and you're sitting here screaming, I'm just paying this. It don't matter. I don't care. The proof is right in front of you when you log on.
You're not listening to me.
No. And you're not listening.
I'm going to tell you to sit down so I can talk.
Hold on, I will. I'll sit down, take a minute. Believe me, I have a nice drink here. I'm going to enjoy. My point is this. It's just a Gatorade. But nonetheless, my point being is that you also have to hear what they're saying. After a while, as the industry gets squeezed, you're talking about Microsoft is going to, if they don't get to that 130 million subscribers, okay, fine. You know what they do? They go the other way. They jack the price up. And once they have that market cornered, which they can do, they've done that with Windows. We said it earlier. How did they do this? Oh, that's the exact same thing they did with Windows. We had Worry Ward on a couple weeks ago. He said this explicitly. It was really, really great how he broke it down. Once they've got you cornered, they know that you need the Windows platform to make games. They know that you need Havoc for this. They know that all the software they have, they start squeezing until it's harder for their competitors to compete. And you guys are all Xbox fans, and I hear you. You're like, oh, right, that's great. It's not great. You're already seeing the quality drop. And Basher hasn't said it in such many words, but he has said that tonight a couple of times.
No, you're not listening to Basher. I actually listened to Basher. You clearly are not listening to Basher. Basher just literally told you Sony does not care about giving you AAA games because they're too expensive to make. That has nothing nothing to do with Game Pass. Listen to me. Let me finish. That has nothing to do with Game Pass. Sony can't afford to keep making these AAA games. Sony, nothing to do with Game Pass. And the reason, so what they're doing is they're making remasters, which makes sense, and you guys keep rebuying them. But you're not talking about that. So clearly you're not listening to what he's saying, and he's the only one in this panel that actually deals with the development of these games. Sony cannot afford to continue making AAA games. So they're making remasters, which this is something that's happening right now in our faces.
Well,
Talking to me about something that hasn't even happened yet.
It has everything to do with Game Pass, my friend.
It does.
You're not. I don't think you. I don't even think you're listening to what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're not listening either, Doc. You're not listening
I just
at
want to
all.
comment on the whole Sony AAA thing.
And the funny thing,
Sony definitely wants to make AAA games still.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you why, because they sell.
Absolutely.
Like Sony's one of the few that they're. Look at the numbers. You know, I think Mooch always say the numbers don't lie. I mean, they're approaching Nintendo Stratosphere numbers, and look, you know, and so they're still going to make those games. Now, they may not take as many risks as they did, 10, 15, 20 years ago in terms of, the kind of content. I think that's why Japan studios closed, but they still want to make AAA games because those games sell, and because Sony positions the PlayStation as a luxury device. AAA experiences are a luxury experience. That's why they're still going to make those games. And because they sell well for Sony, they're part of their brand, they're part of their identity. Now, well, I will say this now to help fund some of those things. I think this is why you see Sony. I meant to say this earlier. This is why you see Sony, and we talked about what Sony needs to do. I think they're already doing. This is why you see them pivoting towards mobile now, pivoting towards PC, because they're looking at other ways, other avenues to monetize, and it makes sense for them to do that. But I don't.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you.
But I disagree with the idea that they don't want to make AAA.
They definitely do. They've got The Last of Us 3 in the works. They've got Sucker Punch is working on Ghost of Tsushima 2, probably. Right? I mean, you've got Horizon's already greenlit for 3. So they want to make the games. That's not entirely true. They are looking to pivot and to make money in other areas, as Microsoft did. Microsoft made the biggest pivot by putting their games on PC day one, put it into a subscription service day one, basically making the Xbox not really wanted by the market, because you can buy them, and you said it yourself, Doc. You don't care as long as the app is somewhere. You go buy a ROG Ally, boom, you're playing it there. You go buy a PC, you're playing it there. That's the same way they think, which is why the Xbox sales have dropped every month. They're not growing. They're not doing.
And Ben Studio's working on a new AAA game. Yeah. And the other thing Sony's going to do is they're going to leverage their dominance of the marketplace to get exclusive third-party content on their on the PlayStation, and that's kind of, so it's kind of this, like, the one thing people remember PlayStation 2, like PlayStation 2 wasn't this exclusive machine for Sony. A lot of the games you remember from PlayStation 2 were third party exclusives. The Onimushas, even GTA 3 for a little bit, Final Fantasy 10. It wasn't really through the PlayStation 3 era did they start really like hunkering down with their first party titles that they got.
Really party studios.
Yeah, but now they've developed and acquired studios, and they've so like they're still going to make those AAA games.
I gotta say quickly, like I believe right now that I don't think they truly are invested as much as people think in AAA games. I think that they're lost a bit in translation. I think that's why you're seeing a lot of like them pushing towards cinema with their production companies for like the Last of Us show and the Uncharted movies, and they're also pushing to mobile now, and they're pushing to obviously these free-to-play games and free-to-play experiences to monetize on that. I think they're trying to change as a company a bit because of Game Pass and because of what they're seeing from Microsoft's side of things.
Yes,
and I think that's okay because it's business at the end of the day. Business is business.
I think that's beyond Microsoft, in my opinion. I think that speaks to the metaverse and what you're seeing in terms of leveraging IP in multiple media facets, whether it's movies, television, video games.
It only makes sense for them to do that. They have a toe in the movie industry. They have a toe in the music.
But that's their goal. But that's why I say AAA experiences to them might not be as important as they were before, because for them, what would be the ideal scenario is to take these massive IPs that they've built that people know and love, and instead of remaking and making sequels and going forward, they just remaster them. and they put them out again after two. Look at The Last of Us Part 2 right now. Everybody knows a remaster is coming of that game. It wasn't even needed, but they're going to do that, then people are going to buy it. Okay, and when they buy it,
but Mesh, I would agree with that if they weren't working on other new AAA titles right now. Like they are, their first party studios are working.
Well, we don't. But wait, hold on. But you say that, and then I can counter you and say, well, what about God of War Ragnarok? What about God of War Ragnarok? What about the fact that when people played that game, it was nowhere near as praised as the first one? It was praised in the beginning.
I mean,
you gotta be careful, but Master, they're about to attack you. They're about to swing on you, buddy.
I don't know if it was. If it wasn't. I mean, it was.
But I got you. Don't worry about it.
I don't know if it was not as crazy as the original God of War. I will say this though. I mean, we know
that
game dragged at many moments as opposed to the first one.
I don't disagree with you, but I wouldn't say that the overall reception, the zeitgeist around Ragnarok was pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't.
I'm not looking at first impression reviews or reviews that happen on Metacritic when the game launches. I'm looking at in general when the smoke clears and what people really think at the end of the day. Not in the beginning with all the angst of the game coming out.
Oh, boy, Master, they're about to attack you, puppy. You don't.
No. Look. Again, this is the part where gaming can be subjective in terms of people's experiences.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad game at all. I'm saying it's
a horrible game. But I don't think. Say it with your chest. It's a horrible game.
Yeah,
no, I'm just saying it doesn't have the same impact.
Let me do this.
As the first game had.
So here,
but how? Like impact on how? Like in terms of console sales.
The reason why that argument doesn't make sense is because
my popcorn. This is
the reason why that argument doesn't make sense is because the facts, data, and statistics prove you wrong. It's one of the fastest selling games on PlayStation in terms of first party.
Because there was nothing else.
What was the last one's part 2?
And it reached 11 million. It reached 11 million.
Nothing else with Halo Infinite.
To answer your question, why didn't it have that splash you're talking about? We went from a completely different style of game in 2018 to something. It was brand new. It's brand new and shiny. Obviously, it's gonna have
missing. No. It had been missing for like a decade.
If I'm going to sit here and have this conversation and not call out the elephant in the room that God of War Ragnarok had pacing issues as a game, I beat the shit out of that game. I love that game. Maybe you think that. But listen, just like with the brand new mid-engine Corvette, right? The brand new mid-engine Corvette came out. Everyone's like, "Wow, beautiful! It's like a budget Ferrari." And then the 2023 model comes out. It's still an incredible machine, but hey, it doesn't have the same impact because we already got the fucking redesign. It already
call that the sophomore blues.
I mean, you know what? Button Master started it, so I'm going to agree with him.
Subjectively, you had issues. Doc doesn't like it. Subjectively, I think the story is not as good as the first game. Like but to say, it didn't have the same impact, it's not going to.
We can agree that the quality of Sony games has gone down, right?
Wait. I
won't say that. I won't say that.
Horizon Zero Dawn is better than Horizon Forbidden West. Yes.
Look, hold on.
Yes. Yes. Horizon Zero Dawn is better than Horizon Forbidden West. Yes.
Narratively,
oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah, it is.
Look,
narratively,
it's a better game in every way.
Thank you. Yes, it is. Okay, what about The Last of Us 1 is better than The Last of Us 2, right?
No, that's
thank you. God of War 3 is better than any of these two God of Wars, right?
Last of Us
okay.
Better than Last of Us 1.
Sony quality going down.
And Halo 2 is better than all the other Halos.
What Button Basher's saying?
You didn't have to do that. You see Supernova, you fight dirty. You didn't have to do that.
But what you're saying is subjective. What you're saying is subjective about your experience, but the impact, I think what Persona was getting to, the impact overall to the PlayStation brand was significant. And probably more so than like what he's saying, like the numbers don't lie. Like, I mean, what you're saying subjective, that's different from impact.
Yeah, like if it didn't have impact, it would have met the sales threshold that it met. It literally broke, it shattered like a lot of PlayStation records. And it's one of the best selling PlayStation games.
What I'm saying is that I believe right now, and I could be wrong. Again, it could happen differently. But what I'm saying is,
you're right on this. You're right on this,
Basher. No, I'm not saying because I'm not trying to be. I'm saying this because what I'm looking at, as far as from PlayStation, from Xbox, going all these different directions, there's no way that you can keep up the same quality. It's not a dent towards the game or towards the developer. It's going to happen regardless, because when you're shooting out all these different directions, there's no way you can keep a pace that is consistent to when you were just focused on one thing. And Sony at one point was focused just on AAA titles. And then Jim Ryan came along and was like, oh, yeah, well, now we got to go here. We got to go there. And we got to do this and we got to do that.
But they bought teams, Basher, and maybe the key thing here is that's what brings us back to the beginning of the show, right? That's why we said Sony might have to end up investing in more teams because, like you said, they're kind of getting pulled in a few different directions. That I understand. I really do. But I mean, I
like when you look at a company like one of their companies like Naughty Dog, right? That Naughty Dog has not released one title for PlayStation 5, okay, in years, and that is their golden goose. What does that tell you? That tells you that either the game they're working on is going to basically be the next coming of fucking Christ, and it's taking this long, or they don't know what the fuck they're doing right now.
I think the second one. I like the second one. I like the second one.
And I'm gonna lean towards the latter. I'm gonna lean towards the latter because I'm gonna say, hey, listen, Naughty Dog as a developer wants to do something that they're good at, and Sony's like, no, you can't do that right now. You got to do this, and they're like, wait, what? And who's paying the checks at the end of the day? Sony is. So they're gonna listen.
They're working on two projects, though, right? They're working on a single player game that we're used to, and then they were also working on factions. So it's not like they're only doing one thing. Like we know these teams are split into multiple teams, and
Last of Us. They're also doing Last of Us 3 too, Nova. So wait, I have a lot of super chats here, and here's what I want to do. It all pertains to this subject for the most part. Can we
let Persona chime in after super chats?
But I wanted to say with the super chats was I wasn't going to just read them. A lot of them are questions. So if you guys do want to answer any of these, by all means, we can stop and do that. But I do want to get to another topic, too. We've been doing this one now for about an hour and a half. So I do want to just read out. Shout out to everybody, too, for being patient here. Shout out to Donnell Brown. Of course, he's got to hit us real quick from being from the West Coast. Shake my head, another podcast full of New Yorkers. Thank you, Donnell. I appreciate that. Right? He's got to hit us. That's Donnell. He's an LA guy. Shout out to Donnell.
Man, we're loud and we're opinionated. What do you want, bro?
Lord Metroid, exactly. Lord Metroid says Nintendo is not for sale, period. Salute everybody. Lord Metro, thank you. Methushel, I'm probably saying it wrong and I apologize, buddy. He says, do you think AI can help with the increasing dev costs? I don't know if anybody wants to touch that one. I would say no, and we probably don't want that, right? Isn't that the whole thing, BRAP, with the whole the strike right now in Hollywood? They don't want AI doing their work, right? We want creative work from...
They want to get paid for their likeness, right? As they should.
As they should.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, for their likeness, 100%, yeah.
Okay.
But Doc's against that, but he's a Giants fan.
wait.
I don't begrudge him.
So, shout out to Easy E. He says, Colin BRAP collab on BRAP's channel, ? He says, industry is long overdue for a crash and for new blood to come in and push it forward. Big corps absorbing IP isn't it? So Easy E kind of,
Can I
go ahead,
Can I tell you something, Mooch? We saw the commoditization of gaming lead to the crash of video games in 1984, I believe it was.
Yeah.
It's happened before.
Yeah, it has happened before.
Thank you. Thanks, Atari.
Right.
Thanks, Atari. Thanks, ET.
Thanks, ET. Thanks, landfills and ETs.
And thanks, Nintendo, for bringing us back.
Shout out to Silent Murky says here, because we were talking about money for new games and what we would pay. He says, if Spider-Man 3 costs $100, I'm still buying it. Facts. So shout out to Silent Murky. He doesn't care. He wants to, I'm definitely not putting that on you, Persona, but like you were saying earlier, you were saying you don't mind to purchase a game that you love and adore to play, and I'm right there with you.
I think most people will. I think most people are willing to pay the money. Like Sean Layden, when he left, was correct. Like he said, something has to budge, either the size and the budgets or the prices. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be the prices, and I'm telling you what, I'm not going to stop gaming for a $10 increase. I may bitch about it, but none of us are going to stop gaming, and they know that. So it's what it's going to be, in my opinion. It's going to be the prices.
Most people won't stop gaming if there's another increase. Like a lot of that stuff that you see on Twitter it's exclusive to Twitter, because in the real world, the numbers don't lie. Because when you're looking at all these financial reports and best-selling games of every week and all this other stuff, people are still buying. Consumers are buying games like they are.
I would gladly pay $100 for a game. I go to a fucking movie theater. I spend $80 to watch a 2-hour film.
Nobody wants to spend more money. Nobody's like, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to spend fucking an extra $20 a game. That would make my life better. Nobody wants to do that. But if they come and say, listen, if you want the same quality that you're getting, the price is going to go up. I'm not going to be like, no, fuck you. Okay, that's what it is because I want the quality. Like if that's what it takes for the quality, I'll take it. But nobody wants to pay extra. But if that's what it is,
unless you guys want to keep playing Redfall, then that's your.
I like what Persona said about. I think I like what he said about. Oh shit! I just had a brain fart. Whatever. Never mind. Keep going.
Can I bring in with my scary thought now because you guys actually just brought it up. So if games do go up in price, the reason I never used to complain about it before is because I would just wait until someone would trade in the game and then I would just buy it used. Like I was okay playing a game after it came out. Very rarely would I have to play a game as soon as it came out. Very, very rarely, right? The only game that I could think of right now that I'm gonna buy when it comes out is gonna be GTA 6. That's it, right? But if we go to an all digital future, I'm screwed. And that scares me a lot. An all digital future really scares me a lot. And which is crazy because I'm pro subscription, right? But I'll be honest with you, if the subscription doesn't do well and we got to pay $100 for great games or whatever, as long as there's physical copies, I'm cool because I'll just wait for you guys to beat it, trade it in, then I'll go ahead and buy it later.
Doc,
but if we go all digital, what am I going to do?
So, Doc, listen, so let me, I'll try to answer your question, and it's not going to be foolproof, but it happens right now, right? So you even talked about yourself maybe getting a gaming PC. You have the ROG Ally. There's Steam sales, and if you look, Xbox and PlayStation, Xbox and PlayStation have digital sales around the holidays. They actually do it 3 times. They do a summer sale. I mean, they're almost doing every season. They're almost doing like fall, summer, winter, and spring.
It's
sale.
like one a quarter.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's the same deal you got physically, so I'm not doing a 1-for-1, but it's close at times. So I'm hoping, and I'm with you, right? Everyone's got to look out for their wallet. I get that. So I still think that you will still get a deal. You may have to wait a little bit longer than what happened physical. But that seems to be where we're going, and that's something we're going to talk about when we talk.
Oh, we're headed there, 100%.
Yeah, it's
get to that Best Buy top.
A lot of the world is already buying the digital versus physical is already lopsided in digital's favor. So the digital future is happening, and what you're seeing here with
the people have spoken.
It was close maybe 3 years ago, but now digital is taking off, and with what you're seeing with this PlayStation. What you're seeing with the PlayStation Slim with a choice of a physical thing, that's only another telling sign of, like by next generation, we're going to be mostly all digital.
And it's not the end of the world. It isn't. I mean, when's the last time a PC gamer touched a disc to play a game? Like, it's not the end of the world. It really isn't.
I was an all physical gamer until I had my accident. And then obviously now because I'm a paraplegic, it's way more convenient to be all digital. And honestly, I don't miss the fucking physical media. Like it's easy to just download my games. I swap to it's super convenient. Yeah. But I do understand people who still are able-bodied and like, listen, I want my physical collection. I don't want that shit to disappear. Unfortunately, it's gonna happen. Like a whole lot
for the collectors.
In an ideal world, what I wish that Sony would be like a cocky son of a bitch like Nintendo and just release their games and put their prices, just flat prices that cost what you're paying for. The product is well made. That is why Nintendo, they do what they do, is because they make quality product. And yes, you can argue maybe they're running on a mobile chip right now in Switch, but they're all about fun, and they're all about you're paying for that product that is going to give you a fun time at the end of the day. And Sony needs to be cocky like that too. If they need to raise their prices to $100 a game, but that's going to guarantee us that we're going to get those fucking bangers every year, I'm all for it.
Back in the 90s, Super Nintendo cartridges, you could see them for $90, $120 easily in stores. The Super Nintendo cartridges, they weren't like $40 back in the day. They were expensive as shit.
Damn, Button Basher, damn it, man. You be exposing me, man. All right, I got a confession for all you guys. I have only bought full price games on the PS5 this generation.
There you go.
Okay.
I bought Ratchet and Clank. I bought Horizon Forbidden West.
Mooch, I told you I'd get him.
My son pre-ordered Spider-Man 2, and yes, I'm gonna play it. We went ahead and bought the Spider-Man controller. That is one thing, though. I don't understand how come Sony doesn't have a controller lab. That would seem so genius.
That would be nice.
And then with the plates on the PS5, it's like, why are you only giving us 7 primary colors? Like, what the fuck you doing, PlayStation?
Yeah.
There should be a special edition plate for each fucking big release.
For every first-party game, for every third-party, they should be having deals with third-party releases. Here's your Call of Duty plates. Here's your here's your plate. Like, why? Like, there's money to be had there. But PlayStation, I understand what they're doing. They're not doing that. They got rid of the themes where they made money. It's like all these other little places where they can make money. They're like, nah, we ain't gonna do that.
Yeah.
Now they're doing a 360 and they're charging you for the fucking vertical stand on the PS Slim. You gotta pay extra for that.
Crazy. That's
fucking
how do you guys
wild,
feel
bro.
about that? How do you guys feel about that?
I don't like it, but I mean, it is what it is. I don't like the Slim at all. Period. Just I don't think it's very slim, and I think it looks like crap. But that's just me.
So I got a super chat here by God Emperor Sofa King. He says, "Let Doc talk, please." To be honest with you, I'm renaming this podcast. Tonight's episode is going to be Doc gets shit off his mind. That's what we're gonna. I think it's Doc. You've totally had the mic. I don't think there's been a problem of you not speaking. So shout out to Doc and shout out to God Emperor Sofa King. Gerald Mack, shout out to Mac. He says too. He goes, your quality food analogies. McDonald's is the most successful restaurant on earth. We were talking about quality back then. I apologize, Gerald. Some of this comes after the fact of the conversation. God Emperor Sofa King says, Doc caught a body. Shout out to. So there you go, Doc. You got a fan. You have a fan here. TrueWiddy says, what if they keep buying publishers, and Game Pass goes up to $60? You know, TrueWiddy, it's not going to go up to $60 anytime in the near future. That's an irate. I throw numbers out like $19.99 is the next Game Pass Ultimate. And there was also rumors out that they said possibly there would be tiers, right? So there's already the tiers of Game Pass. Yeah. They may throw the Call of Duty games into the only Ultimate Game Pass, and then it goes into the other one 6 months later or 3 months later. There was talk of that. So that way they're pushing you into the most expensive tier. That's been rumored.
It already kind of happens that way with the PC. I do PC Game Pass for $10, and there's like MLB The Show isn't in there. Like they're already kind of certain you have to pay the higher tier to get some of this stuff already.
And Mooch, I gotta go, dude.
Okay. Who said they had to go, Basher?
Yeah, I gotta run. I got my 4-month-old son. He's waking up and being a terror right now, so I gotta go handle that.
I appreciate you being here, Basher, and thank you for the code, buddy. That's a code that you're part of the group that gave codes that we're going to be giving. Actually, I'm going to give out a code in a few minutes. Actually, thank you, Basher. I want to say thanks while you're here on the air.
You guys are awesome, everybody. Let's all have fun gaming, and hopefully it doesn't turn to shit. There you go. I'll leave you guys with that.
Thank you,
Basher, for representing Xbox with me. I appreciate it.
I did not do that. Stop lying.
Stop. Cut his mic.
I did not do that.
Call the scat man. Pull him off stage.
Nova, were you saying something? I didn't want to cut you off.
Oh no, it's okay. I was just saying that they're going to leverage whatever IPs they have access to try to incentivize you to get the highest, most expensive tiers. That only makes sense. But to go up to $60, obviously if they don't have enough subs, they're going to raise prices to try to make more money. But if they go too high, then they have the opposite reaction. And people are like, fuck that, we're not paying that. And they cancel subscription. So they got to find that nice balance where they're making money, but not making people cancel the service because they just don't want to pay that amount.
No, very good point. And the great glorious Kev has joined us. Kev, I will get you involved in a question as soon as I want to get through these super chats because I fell way behind. But feel free to chime in if you want to, Kev. Chill Carlos, he says, these arguments are weak at best. Musicians have had to tour since we were buying records. Microsoft spends billions to create and maintain Azure and Windows. I know when we were talking about the music and we were talking about Netflix, I understand his first part, the part where we're defending Microsoft for maintaining Azure. I don't know. It's like, all right. Danelle Brown says, next subject, please. And Code did say third-party devs were not going to like Game Pass in the long run. I remember Code calling BRAP Taco Man. Well, shout out to the great Optimus Code. We miss him tremendously, especially on this show, man. He spoke some truths, and I love to just sit back and be a part of the audience when he was talking. When he was preaching, I was listening. Shout out to the great Andy Hart. He says Xbox needs to be delivering quality games. Andy, we all agree with that. God Emperor Sofa King, also known as Doc's #1 fan. Can you smell what the Doc is cooking? And he says, can you smell what the Doc is cooking? There you go, Doc.
Let's go.
Doc, you got to come on more often. Your boy Roy.
I speak nothing but facts. And I'm a neutral, just so you guys know, I'm neutral.
Oh, you're neutral, all right. Your boy Roy says, Doc, let me come at you from a gamer's perspective, in quotes, because that's all I know how to. Game Pass blows. Your boy Roy's not having it. It's not having it. Andy Hart says, all this talk about Game Pass, yes, it's I don't know if he says Call of Duty or whatever, but where is the quality? Give us quality, not quantity. That is Xbox problem, losing focus on quality. That's something we could talk about, Andy, a little bit as we move forward. TrueWiddy says, if devs don't make money, franchises you love die. Anthony Dixon, game development is an art, a.k.a. talent. When it's turned into, quotes, just put it out there, subscription services, we get results like Redfall. It's a subscription service overall win. They'll eventually pull the rug, a.k.a. profit. So that we were just a lot of these things we were discussing. And by the way, guys, if you want to chime in or you have a comment, please do interrupt me. I don't mind. Resting Craig Face says, I feel like these guys go around on Black Friday screaming these deals are unsustainable. As a consumer, you should only.
Oh, that's funny.
As a consumer, he says you should only care about the value to you.
Yes.
Yes.
Fact. Oh, who's that? Who's joining?
Tired of listening to people cry about Game Pass. Game Pass is the GOAT.
No, who's this? Who's this?
As a consumer, you should also care about the quality of the things that you're buying.
Don't buy it if you don't want it.
Oh, this man.
No, you don't have to.
I speak in glory. That's all I know.
Kev, do you have Game Pass?
Yeah, my son uses it. I seldom use it.
Okay, well that's
because I don't want to leave Steam. That's basically it. I don't want to separate my library, so I'll like dabble in something. Like I tried it for Forza Motorsport.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't touched it this month, but my son has a Series S. So, you want a Game Pass? Okay, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, shout out to Raji. He says Nintendo makes remasters. Warner Brothers. I assume that's what he means by WB makes remasters. Companies update their backlogs to maintain profit levels. The question is Sony releasing quality games? Folks want the remasters because they sell. Raji's just making sense, right? They're making them. They're selling them. Everyone on Twitter keeps making fun of Sony for this, but everyone keeps buying it.
The remasters aren't for people like us,
right?
Remasters are for the new people into the PlayStation ecosystem that didn't play The Last of Us Part 2 on PS4 and they just got a PS5. And if a Last of Us remaster comes out, they're gonna buy that shit. Am I gonna buy that shit? Fuck no, but they'll buy that shit. And that's all that matters to PlayStation.
A lot of times people don't, they leave the context out too. This rumor that's going around, whether it's rumor or it's really happening, The Last of Us being remade, it's because that's going to be launching on PC. So when it's launching on PC, they're of course going to also make a copy for PS5. It just makes sense. Fluffy,
hey, Mooch,
yes, go ahead, please.
I have a quick question for you. Who just left Microsoft recently?
Oh, are you talking about one of my topics?
No. I'm just I'm just saying in general. Like who left Microsoft recently?
Jim Ryan. Oh no, my bad. My bad. He got fired.
No, not Jim Ryan.
He retired. He's retired. My bad.
Yeah, Panos Panay. And I encourage everyone to Google him.
Yeah, he was the Surface. He was the Surface genius that changed the look and the feel. He kind of made Microsoft laptops look like Apple laptops.
There's a reason why he left. So hopefully people will do some research and tie those things together. But I just want to throw it out there.
Oh, that's interesting. BRAP just gave everybody a homework assignment. I like it, BRAP. I really do.
It has to do with hardware. So I'll just leave it at that.
Oh.
I mean, just spilled the beans, bro.
Yeah, you're already there, halfway there. Tell us.
Go ahead, BRAP.
No, Mooch. No, I don't want. I don't want to hijack the show. Go ahead.
I don't want to hijack. Flaffy 1101. He says we're really desperate for a contrarian that we have this bootleg Temu AliExpress counterfeit. Oh, I don't know. He's going on. Sony makes more AAA than Xbox, Nintendo combined. Well, Nintendo makes a lot of games.
Damn.
You know what I mean, Flaffy? Nintendo does make a lot of games. And Xbox, this is the rule now, right? They buy the team. It's their game. That it is what it is. Can't really argue that. I always say his name wrong. I know he's on Twitter all the time, but Nick, I'll just say Nick. He says, how about some acknowledgement for Xbox manifesting the greatest day in gaming since Nintendo saved the industry with the NES? Well, I don't know, Nick.
That's the reach. This isn't the greatest day in the industry.
Yeah.
This is a great day for Xbox.
Might be drinking that champagne alone. But nonetheless, Nick, I appreciate you being here, buddy. Great to have Nick in the audience. Magnum Gaming says, will Sony keep selling the OG PS5 after the PS Slim model?
No, they won't.
No,
they're gonna let it run out.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They'll liquidate the stock they have, and the new PS5s are the new PS5s. Why would they sell both?
Yeah, they're not. I think they're the whole point, and that's why they were having those sales. They wanted to get the old SKU out and get this new one in, and that's going to be the new one going forward. He says, if so, what is the fuss all about? It's optional, just like the Portal is. Well, it's not that it's necessarily optional. I don't know. It's going to be the new SKU. But we're actually Magnum Gaming. We're going to get into that. That's the next topic. And Raji comes back last super chat. He says, just a word on the new Slim. Previously, they did not need an account. Oh, pardon me, 2 account for discs on the main board. The Slim now equals the disc with a bulk discount. I'm not sure, Raji. Trying to follow that one. Previously, they did not need to account for discs on the main board.
No.
It's a
It's not a
discount, but the Slim is $50 more.
It's $50 more.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that
it's
don't
not-
make sense.
It's not. Yeah, it's not quite a discount, Raji. I will do this. So real quick, guys, I'm going to give away I'm going to do the Steam one first because I know everybody probably wants the Xbox one, so I'll wait to the end for that one. But I am going to go ahead and listen.
Am I eligible for this Mooch or no?
Unfortunately, panel members are not eligible because
come
of
on.
course they wouldn't allow that, right? They just wouldn't allow.
Yeah.
We gotta need that Steam key.
Shout out
Don't let Doc can't win either, by the way.
No, Doc's not going to be able to win this one either, unfortunately, Doc. But if
I got it on Game Pass. You guys know that.
That's right. You do have. Well, this is, and if it was this, don't go by me, guys. This is what it was told. I believe this is the Ultimate Edition version. So what's better about it is you'll own it. And right, how about
Why you do that to me, Mooch? Why you do that to
I
me?
had to take a jab. I had to take one jab, Doc. All right. So listen, the great Gamers Gamut, who's on the show tonight, and Supernova said, "Hey, Mooch, throw some questions. We'll do some questions. How about that?" So we were talking about it, guys. First one to answer it. And by the way, BRAP, you have like Hawkeyes. Anybody on the panel, please keep an eye on the chat for the answer. I don't know if you guys would know the answer, actually. Neil Blomkamp is a film director, producer, and screenwriter. Again, this is for the Steam version of Forza Motorsport. Neil Blomkamp is a film director, producer, and screenwriter, particularly known for his work in the science fiction genre. His feature film debut came in 2009 with the well-received District 9. I know you guys know that movie. But only after it was a good movie. But only after a project to adapt a popular video game franchise fell through, Blomkamp was attached as the director. What is the name of this franchise, which debuted a character that later lent its name to Microsoft's version of Apple's Siri? Now, I'll repeat the question. What is the name of this franchise, which debuted a character that later lent its name to Microsoft's version of Apple's Siri? Brian East. The answer is Halo. So Brian East, DM me on Twitter and you have the Steam edition. It is X Abbott. Good on you. Josh, Arise. Joey,
That's
just to
a
give
good
people
answer. I thought it was Cortana.
Well, that's the thing. So Cortana is Apple's Siri, but it said, what is the name of the franchise? And it's Halo.
Oh.
So
we need content, Cortana.
so Brian
But
East,
did he answer it in the form of a question?
yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Supernova, the second question
Where's Sean Connery?
for the Xbox version, a code, I will do it. It has to be answered in the form of a question. Okay, like Jeopardy. Okay, I love it. Supernova, you're great. All right. So Brian East, hit me up on Twitter. I just make sure you guys have Twitter. That's how I'm going to be able to give you the code. So I'll do it right after the show. Let's go on to, of course, the PlayStation 5 Slim. I do want to talk about that. And we had it right here with Magnum Gaming, who gave us a great segue to it. Persona, I want to go to you on this one. Persona, the PlayStation 5 Slim comes out, of course. Now, listen, I'm not going to speak for you. I would assume, I'll speak for myself. I have a physical disc PS5 version. I, myself, do not need this. I actually, after seeing the side-by-sides, because everyone was like, it looks stupid. It looks the same. It's not even smaller. And then we saw it next to it. It actually looks pretty good. It's a lot smaller, and it's actually a lot lighter. So if I didn't have a PS5, I would go for the new one over the old one. But Persona, where are you on the whole PlayStation 5 Slim model? Are you interested in trading in for that? Do you think it's a good move by Sony? And do you want to talk a little bit about maybe why they're doing this for their future, which I think you touched on already?
Yeah, when it comes to the Slim, I'm good. That's not really something. I think it looks fine, by the way, and it's definitely a lot smaller. I've seen the side-by-side shots as well. I'm good on purchasing that. I already have 2 PS5s already, and my day one PS5, which is an all digital, works perfectly fine. You feel me? I'm not.
Yep.
I don't really have an interest in this. My interest is actually in the PlayStation 5 Pro.
Yes.
So if they put out a Pro, that's something I would pick up and replace with my PS5. And what was the other question?
Basically, what do you think that is this a strategic move? Because you have Microsoft that's rumored to be coming out with same specs as the Series X, but not without the disk drive. Now Sony's saying, "Hey, listen, we're going digital." Is this their way of saying we're going digital?
I mean, listen, history. If we look at history, PlayStation has always released slim versions of their console. So this is on brand with how PlayStation moves with a slim version of the consoles, and we are 3 years into the generation. So it's on brand. In terms of competing with Microsoft, I don't think this is necessarily to compete with them. I just think this is something that they do. I mean, they done it with the PS4, 3, the 2, and the 1, I believe. So I don't think this is them trying to necessarily directly compete with that.
Okay,
and I do think that this version, I think that's it's interesting they're doing that, and I think they're really doing that to kind of prepare people, man, of like, yo, look, when that PS6 hit, that's gonna be all digital. So get ready.
You don't think they'll have an attachment for that and follow suit?
It's hard to say. The way the landscape of the industry is moving, it's very digital focused. And so, I can see, if we're supposed to get a Pro next year, I can see this generation lasting another 3+ years. And so by like 2027, 2028, I could definitely see the landscape of the industry being even more digital focused. So I'm going to say no. I don't think that they will release a physical version of the console next generation.
Okay.
I think they're going to go all in on digital.
The cool thing about what they're doing now, Persona, is that technically all of the new PS5s are digital versions. It's just one already has the disk drive attached and then one doesn't, but they're all technically digital editions.
True.
I think they were preparing you for that at the very beginning of this generation when they gave you a only digital option. You know what I mean? I think that's the preparation right there.
Yeah, but I mean, the main reason they're doing this is just it's to save money, right? They're saving a bunch on weight in shipping.
Production costs.
They're saving a lot on not having to have multiple SKUs. They can produce the digital editions in the same place they're producing the disc editions. Like it's easier. They're just kind of shoring everything up so that it costs them less money.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right. And Raji came back because he said, let me better clarify. He says, to clarify, new digital and slim both have chips that read the presence of the disk drive. Previously, digital versions bypassed that whole area. So the digital is digital in name only. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, they're essentially the same hardware.
Right. They're exactly the same hardware. License. He comes back again and says licensing or license for reading discs could cost a bit more now. So the previous digital does not equal new digital. There are additional costs for the modular PS5. Well, what do you guys think? I think that Raji makes a good point. I mean, Doc, just to get your perspective, you have a PS5, and if you didn't have your PS5, you've seen the Slim. Would you have gone? You just said yourself you prefer still going physical when you can go physical. So would you have gotten the new one with the attached physical compartment for that extra dollar amount?
No, if I was to go digital, then if I was to get a digital console, then I'm sticking to just all digital. So I actually have two PS5s, and both my PS5s have the disc drive attached to them. The only reason why I even contemplated getting a digital PS5 is because I thought it looked better. But I knew that it does, right? Doesn't the digital PS5 look better? I feel
definitely,
like
definitely does.
More sleek. It doesn't have the tumor on the side.
Yeah.
Man.
The design of the new PS5s is fine, except for the fact that I don't know about that line down the middle that they put in it. So now it has 4 plates. So, but that's the only thing that I would question or whatever. But I think it's fine, man. I wouldn't buy that attachment, but I see why they did it. Because let's say in the future you do want to buy a disc game, then you have that option. If somebody wants to lend you a game and you only have the digital, okay, now you have an attachment that you can use as well. So I get it. I'm sure those things are also going to go on sale. I'm sure those things are also going to be traded back into GameStops and stuff like that. So it'll be all right. I just don't understand why they decided to charge the $450 for it. I think that was a bad move, man. If that was still $400 and it still had the option to get an attachment, man, now you talking. You know what I mean?
I do have to say that it's a good question, Doc. Does anybody have an answer for that besides them just trying to make a couple extra bucks? I mean, why would they go up in price when seemingly things do get less expensive as we move forward in the generation without a tech spec increase, right? I mean, BRAP, that's something we talk about all the time. The PS5 Pro, okay, that's rumored to come out, which you almost have to say it's going to. Tom Henderson is batting 1,000. I mean, he called the portal.
I don't know about 1,000, Mooch. But.
Well, I mean, in 2023, he called the portal, he called the Slim, and he called the Pro. The 2 of the 3 have come true so far. Of course, we're not going to hear. Sony's not going to say anything about the Pro till we get closer to its launch because they want you to buy. Now they want you to buy the Slim. So I'm just saying here, BRAP, did they need to go the extra $50 on that or no?
Do they need to?
That's
as a consumer, no. But they're a corporation. They're in the business to make money, to make their shareholders money. And look, I said this on Twitter or X or whatever it's called today, that if there was an adequate competitor on par with PlayStation, they wouldn't be doing this stuff. You know, but look, their products are in demand. This is very Apple-esque. And this is why they did that. I mean, and there's also inflation like that we're dealing with right now. Like that wasn't like inflation has always existed, but not to the degree that we're living with today. Like, so, I mean, I'm not going to fully give that. I mean, inflation's down though. I mean, like inflation is. I can't speak for the rest of the world. I know it's down the rest of the world compared to where it was coming out of the pandemic. But here in the U.S., inflation's about 3% now. According to the Fed, 2% is where you want to be in terms of inflation. And the supply chain. I mean, we're not. And when Sony raised prices in Europe and other parts of the world, they actually cited inflationary dynamics. They're not doing that here. I think this is a matter of look. The PlayStation 5 is a hot product. There aren't any other suitable competitors in the market, and they could charge more because they know the market will pay for it. The market will bear that $50 increase. I don't agree with it. I don't like it as a consumer. But those are that's just the reality of the situation.
I'd be inclined to say like maybe it's inflation, except for the fact that the disc edition didn't go up in price at all. So it's like, well, then it's not inflation. Otherwise, both products would have gone up.
Yeah, kind of did though.
I agree with what Brad says. Yeah.
No,
if you think about the price of the actual disc drive, plus that, because you have if you buy it all in one, I see what you're saying. It costs more money if you buy the digital and then decide to go.
The disc edition PS5, the new one, is the same price that the current disc edition is. So if it was inflation, everything would have gone up. But for the digital to go up only without even the fucking disc drive attached, so you're paying $50 extra, and you don't even get the goddamn disc drive. Then you got to pay an extra? Was it $80 for the disc drive?
$80 for the disc drive plus 30, which actually ends up costing more.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I'm an all digital gamer, and both my PS5s are disc edition. Just because if the option comes, if my sister comes with a disc or a friend has a disc, I want to still have the option. So for me, I'm not getting one of these new PS5s, I have no need. But if I would still go with the disc edition just because I always want to have the options. But yeah, I don't understand the mentality behind we're going to charge more for this discless or the digital edition, and then make it so that if you add the disc drive later, overall it costs you even more. I don't know. It makes no.
Well, yeah, because they want to incentivize people to go out and buy the $500 because they're like, well, if I ever want to go and upgrade later, it's going to cost me more. I might as well just buy the $500 edition now.
Right.
I mean, they are getting cocky.
What if they find themselves in this place like where Xbox, the best-selling one is the Series S. It's the cheaper one. Like, so maybe they'll find themselves in this place where everyone bought the digital edition. I don't know, man. Maybe
they are getting cocky.
I don't know.
So, it's funny. So Gamers Gamut says, they're getting cocky. I'll say one thing, though, and I don't know if he was being serious, but shout out to Jez Gordon. Jez had made a tweet, and he said after the prices were revealed for the Slim, and he said, this kind of shows that Sony's not concerned about Xbox in the console space anymore. Like,
why would they, Mooch? I mean, they're not. Look at the numbers of Xbox. I mean, they're not. I mean, they're again. We're back to a 2-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
I mean, so why would Sony be concerned? I mean,
Right.
You know, and that's what they and that's in the face.
It's worse than that because PS5 is outpacing PS4, and Series X and S are below what Xbox One was.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, think about this: like PlayStation is outselling Xbox almost 2-1, and that's in the face of a cheaper SKU by Microsoft and what people arguably call the best deal in gaming. I mean, so look. I mean, so the market. Look what the market's saying to Sony and Xbox.
Right. People are gonna buy. Yeah, people are gonna buy. When it comes to the next gen console, the next gen console that's dominating is the PlayStation 5. No one's gonna question that, and that's why Microsoft had to pivot because they didn't want to go console for console. So it is what it is. I think they made a huge mistake with the Series X and the promotion of power because that bit them in the face, right? And even right now, I mean, the best looking games, if you want to tally them all together, are PlayStation 5 games, and some of them are even cross-gen games that look better than next-gen quote-unquote Xbox games like Redfall. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. So yeah, Sony's really cocky, and you get cocky when you're on top, when you're winning, and there's nobody that can stop you right now. You know what I mean? I think the next console to look at
something else to consider here.
Mooch. Yeah, what do you got, Persona?
But I gotta start heading out though, fellas.
Yeah, Doc.
I just want to say my goodbyes real quick, man.
Doc,
I appreciate everybody on the panel. Persona, your beginning soliloquy, man. I'm gonna rewatch that over and over again, man, because you broke that down like crazy, bro. BRAP, you just taught me a new word. I'm gonna go through it again. And Supernova, you know you're my brother, bro.
Google it. Google it, by the way, Doc.
All right, bet. You sent me the definition, puppy. I got you. Don't worry about it.
I'll send it to you, man.
All right, bet. And Mooch, thank you for inviting me, man.
Yes,
I know
Doc.
I wasn't able to come on last week. I always hate saying no because I don't know when I'm going to get an opportunity like that again, man. I know these shows get packed. You guys are amazing at what you guys do. I even consider myself lucky to be in the same spheres as you guys. So thank you so much. And chat, I hope you guys had fun tonight. I had fun, and Game Pass. You already know.
Doc, great to have you
Mooch,
on.
actually I'm gonna dip out too, man.
You guys all said I said 9:00, so we're after the 9:00. I do have Persona. Can I ask you one question, Doc? I want to say thank you, by the way, and we'll plug the channel. But I do want to ask Persona questions. So, Doc, if you got to bounce, I completely understand. You were only going to be here 90 minutes, and you stayed for the full 2. So, thank you, Doc. I appreciate that.
All right,
be easy. So, Persona, let me go to the next question because I got to ask you this. Then you can bounce. You can totally bounce. Spider-Man 2 arrives next week. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I know you're hyped. I know you're psyched. So listen to me. What's the meta? I need a Persona. A Persona says, what is the score? The meta score going to be? Will it beat the first one?
So everything I'm seeing about Spider-Man looks absolutely incredible, and it does look better than the first game, even better than Miles Morales when it comes to the city being expanded, the abilities, the costumes, and everything, and just the story looks like it's going to be crazy as well. I'm actually going to say that Spider-Man 2 is going to be 90 meta.
A 90 meta. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we're in the same boat. And I blame, shout out to the great J Main 518. We had Jay on a couple weeks ago, but I saw him going back and forth with a bunch of people. I'm going to go 91. I'm going 91.
Oh, man.
Listen, it's J Main.
Yo, it looks absolutely incredible, man. Like the little previews we saw a couple weeks ago and everything. I'm just like, yo, this looks, the city looks so much more dense and much more lively and detailed, and I can't wait to get lost in that world on my OLED, man. It looks crazy. So I can definitely see this being a 90.
You know, the reason I say it too, go ahead, and Nova, I'll give you the mic, but the reason I want to say, the reason I'm coming up with the 90s, not just because the game is going to be quality. I think everybody knows that, right? No matter what side of the coin you're playing games on, you know what's going on there. But this is also kind of a way that Insomniac has done some amazing things, period. I think
Insomniac has been saving PlayStation this entire generation.
Facts. 100%. So I think this is Insomniac getting their flowers. So I think that's where that extra point or two is coming from. Is just respect. So
and the crazy thing is, right after this, they got Wolverine. It's just like, yo,
and that's literally what's got me hyped, because Wolverine is definitely one of my favorite characters. Period. More than Spider-Man for me. Yep. I know a lot of people are gonna say no, but for me it is. So no, Persona. And if you got to bounce, I want to say thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you, Mooch, man. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to the chat. Hit the like button. And it's been your boy Persona. I'm out, guys. Peace.
All right, Persona. We'll catch you tomorrow morning on What's Up PlayStation, man. Thank you.
Sir.
All right, Persona. Thanks for being here. Nova, I took the mic away from you, buddy. What do you think? What's your prediction?
I mean, I don't want to predict because I don't know. I'm just saying that for what Persona said, I can see that being the case. All the initial reactions from anyone that's had the ability to put hands on a controller and play the little preview that Insomniac gave has nothing but amazing things to say. I don't think I've heard any really negative things about any of the previews that people have seen, so that makes me feel good about the game. So I can easily see a case where it's a 9. I hope that it's a 9 or higher, because I'm really excited for it.
I am too. Gamers Gamut, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a better game. I don't know if it's gonna. I mean, yeah, it probably will score a little bit better. I think maybe an 89. Or it's hard to get away from the 88. You know, they always land on that fucking 88. But I can see 89 or 90. It's just, you know, the sophomore blues are a real thing. It's, you know, when people already know what to expect, you really got to go the extra mile to hit that same kind of impression again. You know, it's hard to do. So, but if anybody could do it, I think they can do it.
It's the third outing, technically, so it's.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But as far as like with Miles, yeah.
So you're tapping.
I get what you're saying.
So Gamut, you're tapping out at 89.
Yeah, 89 or 90. I think it's right around that area. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see it there. It would be nice. I think it's going to be great, man. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think they're holding back some things that I think we're all going to have our minds blown for sure in certain ways. So I'm looking forward to the surprises.
Shout out to Colt Eastwood. Colt, but we're trying to get you on the show. Reached out to Colt so many times. Colt, let me know. Hit me up in the DMs, buddy. Let me know when we can get you on the show, buddy. When I have a great conversation about what's going on, especially right now in the industry with you, it'll be a lot of fun. Shout out to Colt Eastwood. I appreciate him stopping by. Glorious Kev, listen, you're a hard critic. Kev, yes. You're not it's hard to get an 8 out of 10 out of the Kev. Kev, what do you think?
Believe it or not, I actually really liked both the last two Spider-Man games, Miles Morales and 2018. Beat them a couple times, both on PS4 Pro and on PC. I'm not super excited about this one, though. Not that it looks like bad, it just looks more of the same. I'm thinking probably like low to mid 80s, somewhere between 80 85, which isn't a bad score. I'm just not excited about the game, like, at all. Probably because I don't have the PS5. Maybe that's it too, but I have zero hype for this game.
Okay, well, I mean, I respect that. You know, listen, not every game is for every person. That's for darn sure. That's, I mean, you never would have known that with other games that came out. But nonetheless, BRAP, what do you think?
I'm going to go with 88. I feel like they've been
so safe.
I mean, you can't blame the guy, man. You can't blame the guy.
Kind of like the safe bet. I don't know.
That's a safe bet.
Look, I've heard. Well, I got to be careful. All right, look, I really good things, and I'll leave it at that. It wouldn't surprise me if it was above 88, but I'm going to go with 88.
Not too bad. I just say BEP, and nonetheless, and you know, it's funny. So I saw a lot of people say this. Colt Eastwood, he says, thanks to Xbox, COD will see more players on Nintendo Switch too. You know, the only thing I think about that though, Colt, is this. So the rumors for Switch 2 are saying that it's going to be as strong as a PS4, Xbox One. Now, hear me out. To play the older games, yes. But if Call of Duty starts to actually push an advanced technology forward, might still be a struggle for new Call of Duty games on Switch. That's my only caveat to that. I think older games, yes.
I think you'll see more players, but I mean, like we need to quantify a little bit of that, and Colt's not really good at quantifying stuff, so I'll just leave that at that.
Yeah, I mean, I need a little. Yeah, we need a little bit more to find out what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to be the brains in the Switch 2. And is Call of Duty going to start to elevate from where they are right now, or is Call of Duty going to look like the game that we're playing right now? It's on screen right now for the next 10 years.
Also, different addressable markets. I mean, that's the other thing too. I'm not saying that zero people won't play COD on Nintendo, but it's also that platform is also to address a different addressable market.
That's a much younger.
You know, he's saying COD runs on phone, but that's COD Mobile. It's a different game. I mean,
it's a different game. Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
we know they might put COD Mobile on Switch.
Maybe COD Mobile's on Switch.
No, that
might not be mainline COD. We just know COD.
Yeah, I mean, but
that's a good point.
I mean, but again, that's different addressable market, and Switch players tend to consume mostly Nintendo content. So.
Yeah, well,
Nintendo is the one console where I think most people will agree.
Who the hell's trying to play Call of
games.
Duty on a fucking Switch?
Well, don't forget though, Colt. I know what you're saying. You're saying no, Call of Duty is made to reach everyone, but they tried it on the Wii U, and it was, that was a long time ago. I think that was in the 360 era, the end of the 360 era when that was going on, and it couldn't run on that, so it was made to run everywhere. So
Colt's like Michael Pachter. Typically with Pachter, the opposite happens with it. It's kind of the same thing with Colt.
We got to get Colt on the show. It'll be fun. BRAP, that'll be one of our greatest shows of the year. Fired. We'll have a great show. Shout out to Lord Metroid. He says Switch 2 will dominate Mario Wonder 95. Lord Metroid, you're so into Nintendo. I love it. I appreciate it.
That Mario Wonder is gonna kill.
Mario Wonder.
We don't talk about that or give it enough flowers, but I got to tell you something. You'll see pictures of it. I'm legitimately gonna have Mario Wonder the same day I'm having, Spider-Man 2, and I'll be enjoying that with the family. That's just something that I listen. Nintendo. I know you guys that are all in the chat are hardcore PlayStation, hardcore Xbox. But listen. I grew up with a Nintendo, and there's no way I'm ever not going to have it. I don't care. Switch 2, day one. Switch 2, day one. You heard it here.
Listen,
Switch
man,
2, day one.
That overworld map gave me fucking member berry tingles. I was like, oh, Super Mario 3, Super Mario World. Oh, shit.
That's great.
Hot take, Nintendo are the best developers in the industry.
Well, that's great. That's great. So
said what I said.
Well, Colt, listen, let's get you on the show. Let me know. We'll have my people talk to your people. We'll get you on the show. We got to get Colt on the show. I've been trying for like a month and a half, 2 months now. But schedules just didn't work out. He is on the West Coast, so it does make it a bit difficult. All right, guys, I'm going to do the second question. This is for the Xbox Forza Motorsport giveaway. Okay, and I believe it's the premium edition. Don't quote me on that. It's Forza Motorsport. But if it is the one that I think it is, you get a bunch of different things with it. I think you get some extra. You get different outfits for your race avatar, and you also get, I believe, some solid cars. Some solid cars. So here's the question. And now the great Supernova said that this is what you have to do. For this one here, we're looking for the answer in the chat, and we're looking at it in the form of a question, right? So the last answer was Halo. The way you would answer it is, what is Halo? We're doing Jeopardy style. Make it a little bit more difficult, a little more typing involved. All right, here we go. Desmond Miles is a fictional character and the main protagonist of the first few installments in what series of video games?
There's an easy one, guys.
It is easy, but I figured you deserved it if you stayed here for. We're well over 2 hours here, so I gotta say, thanks, Colt.
Y'all said it's easy, but I think I know what series it is, and I got into it late, so I never played as him. I want to hear what the answer is.
Gonna test some typing skills.
No, Cynthia, no, it is not Infamous. No, it is not Miles Morales.
Joey Phantom Kraken got it.
Joey,
that's what I thought it was.
Phantom Kraken has got it. What is Assassin's Creed? Yes, Joey, you won the Xbox Forza Motorsport giveaway. Joey, do you have me now? Joey, let me know if do you follow me on Twitter. It's the same as here. It's at Mooch TV. Instead of the O's, it's zeros. So it's M00CHTV. Joey, let me know if you follow me on Twitter. Otherwise, I'm going to have to send you the code through Carrier Pigeon. I have no other way to get it to you. I really, really don't. Outstanding show tonight. Want to say thanks to everybody. And Brian East, I know you're still here. Brian, I'll be sending you that code in the DMs as well. Your boy Roy goes, Mooch, no way. I got him by 1. Oh, so sorry about that. Your boy Roy, and lots of love for your boy Roy. I appreciate that. He's a Mooch Maniac family member. Joey Phantom, still waiting for Joey Phantom. Do you have a Twitter? I hope anyone that answered does have a Twitter at least. Guys, let me know if you see Joey's. Yes, he says yes. All right, Joey, hit me up here. I'm gonna put it in I'll put it in the chat. You can copy it, paste it, and hit me up if you're not following me already. There you go, Joey. It's right there. So make sure you hit me up. If you don't hit me up on Twitter, I can't give it away. That's the only, there's the caveat. There's the fine print. All right. Shout out to your boy Ray. He says it's all good fun. Shout out to X Abbott, who's coming in like an hour late. What is Assassin's Creed? X Abbott, great to have you here. All right. Listen, I want to say thanks to everybody for being here tonight. This was a great show. Yes, it got a little heat. It's Crossfire, right? We're supposed to have a little bit of heat. So shout out to the great Doc Dark, a persona who had to leave early, as well as Button Bash, who really got people riled up. But I'll go in reverse order and say, Glorious Kev, we've got to get you here at the beginning of the show. I know our schedules haven't worked out as well, but we got to make it work, Kev. Let people know where they can find you, and thanks for being so glorious tonight.
Oh, yes, thank you. You can find me on Twitter and on YouTube at Glorious Kev. Getting me on the show early is hard. Remember, I'm on the West Coast.
That's true.
You start the show like an hour and a half before I get off work. That's true. That's why I come in so late.
No, it's okay, man. I appreciate you being here, Kev. Thank you.
All right. Of course.
So, Kev, anything you want to plug, Kev?
Just plug in my YouTube, youtube.com/gloriouskev. I know your audience is a lot of PlayStation, Xbox guys. I mostly talk about PC stuff. But hey, if you want to come by, talk about some games, that's where you can find me, or on Twitter at GloriousKev.
Absolutely. And Kev, always great to have you here, buddy. Love your takes on Twitter too. Not always agreeing with them, but they still make me laugh, and I happen to know you, so I know where you're coming from with those tweets. There's something. You always invoke a little crossfire yourself on Twitter, which is always good.
I set people off by accident.
It's a healthy thing to do, Kev. It's fine. The Great Gamers Gamut. I know that you also have work a lot of times on Friday, and you made time for us, buddy. I want to say thank you for that. Let people know where they can find you. Hey, thanks for being here, Gamut. Where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at GamersGamutYT. I appreciate you having me today, and I'll try to be punctual next time. Just have some things going on, but it's nice. I just want to say it's nice to see the chat getting in on the mooching for the free games. I love to see it.
Hashtag mooching in effect. It's good. Listen, there's a little mooch in everybody. Everybody can be a mooch, and that's fine. We welcome that. So, I encourage you, Gambit. Nice way to say that, buddy. I appreciate it. The great Supernova. Nova, it's funny because I listen to your rants, I listen to your videos, and you're kind of like me, man. You're just so, it's the New Yorker. You're just so loud and you're so intense, and I love it. And you bring that same energy here to Crossfire, buddy. Love when you're on the show. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep making videos, please. I should probably take some of my own damn advice because I don't make any videos. I should probably make some, and I can learn something from you. But Nova, let people know where they can find you, buddy. And thanks for being here tonight.
Hey, no problem, man. Anytime I can be on here, I'm down to do it. I do that, Wasted with Wise on Friday.
Yep.
So
Great show.
As long as I get a heads up where I can let them know and I'm not just bailing on them, I'm always down to do Crossfire. But you can catch me on YouTube. It's Supernova Gaming. That's SUPA Nova Gaming. I make videos occasionally. Haven't been making them that often. I got to get back into making them. I'm on Twitter at Gaming Supernova. Every once in a while, when Thrash decides to do a roundtable, I'm on the Roundtable podcast over on King Thrash's channel. And then every Friday, I do Wasted with Wise at I think 6 Eastern.
Yep.
So yeah.
No, shout out to you guys over there. Shout out to the Wise Old Gamer and you, Nova. Outstanding show. And shout out to Brian East. He says, Mooch, thanks so much. Great show today. Brian, thanks for doing that, buddy. I appreciate that. It's great to see the audience enjoy it. We do this because we enjoy it. These guys take time out of their schedules to be here, and I appreciate the panel so much for being an active part of this show. Speaking of being an active part of the show, the Great Basement Radio Arcade podcast is absolutely on fire this week. Go over there and check out his 17 videos he's put out. There's a lot of content over on BRAP. I can't even hold a candle to him. He'll say to me on Tuesday, hey, I'm just going to go live. And I'm like, you go for it, buddy. BRAP, I love all the work you're doing. Again, let's give you praise. Great interview with Colin again. Let people know where they can find you. And thanks for being here tonight, BRAP.
Yeah, no, great show, Mooch. And I just want to say something. PC is the best place to play video games.
Well, I guess
yes.
We're all being.
Yes.
I mean,
Kev.
nothing makes me laugh more when people are like, "BRAP's a pony." I'm like, haha. Actually, I'm not. I play on PC, which is the definitive platform for all things video games. So thank you. Yes,
I laugh at these posts when you see like these memes and they're like, "Oh, what's it like to not have a PlayStation?" I have a PC. That's why I don't have a PlayStation. I have all the games.
Exactly. So it's like, and we have we always get the definitive experiences and editions of games. So I'll just leave it at that. But great show, Mooch. Thank you, man. Yeah, man, just great show, and looking forward to playing some more video games this weekend. I did roll credits today on Cyberpunk 2077's Phantom
Very
Liberty.
nice.
You'll see it was amazing, and now I'm just getting ready to dive into Spider-Man 2. So, what a great year 2023 has been for gaming.
2023 been such a great year.
It has.
No.
Somebody said, "Who wants to play Call of Duty on a Switch?" I think I might download the beta on my Steam Deck. Just because I can,
as you should, because that's going to be the better experience.
Yes.
But I will say this: my game of the year still 2023 has been a great year. it is still Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's going to be a tough one to beat.
Amazing.
It's going to be a tough one to beat. We all know that. That's just going to be very hard to beat.
It's not my kind of game, but I've heard nothing but good things.
No, I still got to play it. I'm so knees deep in Starfield mostly. I did finish God of War 2018 again on PC last night, but I'm mostly knee deep in Starfield still.
Hey,
are we ever going to hit like a slowdown period where we can catch up at all? Or are they just going to keep hitting us, man? Because god dang.
I think early 2024 maybe.
I still have games in my backlog from last fall, dog.
Oh man,
it's getting ridiculous out here.
Hey, Kev, that's PC life, though, man.
I haven't bought it yet because it's like I have too many games to play.
I think it's because we got a lot of those games that were pushed back because of COVID and other reasons, and everything just kind of all landed in this year. So
yeah.
Hey, speaking on PC, I did just build my first PC like earlier this summer. And Thank you. It's been very awesome. And what I wasn't expecting was my backlog to double just on the sheer fact of like emulation and playing the old classics. Like now my backlog is ridiculous because I have all sorts of PS2 games and man, it's been amazing.
I'm waiting for Mario Wonder to hit PC the next couple days. I'll put it that way.
Shout out to Joey Phantom Crack. If Joey, I just added you on Twitter shortly after the show's over. You and Brian East. Brian East again getting the Steam version. Joey getting the Xbox version. Hey, go ahead and feel free to tweet out that you got the code from the show. A little bit of I'm mooching back. I'm mooching back already. I'm like, can I get some advertising? No, guys, enjoy the games. What a great panel. Again, I want to do a shout out to the guys that had to leave here. There's Joey now. Joey just wrote me. Great to have Joe. Good to see you here too. I just want to go over and say thanks to the great Persona. Persona had to leave. That's Persona Speaks. You guys know who he is. You guys know him on Twitter, and it's Gaming with Persona here on YouTube. So go over and check him and Brian. I'm looking at Brian East. Jay Barry are doing What's Up PlayStation 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. It's going to be a great show. Looking forward to seeing what those guys got cooking. And also, Doc Dark had to leave. That's at Doc_Dark1985 over on Twitter. Go over and check him out. I think he's Doc Dark1985 as well on YouTube. I subscribe to his channel, but I don't. It is, I believe. I don't have it in front of me written down, which I should. And the great HR Bomber couldn't make it tonight. Bomber was supposed to join us, and the great Gaming Forte couldn't make it as well. You guys know how to find those guys. They'll probably be on next week. Really appreciate you guys being here. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on the way out. And let's do this again next week. What do you say, guys? When we got a little Spider-Man to talk about. It's going to be a lot of Spider-Man talk and a lot of Spider-Man footage. No spoilers. Probably just early game stuff so you guys can take a look at it. But it's going to be a lot of fun. That being said, again, please hit the subscribe button, the like button on the way out. We'll see you next Friday. Game this weekend. Get rid of that backlog because next week is Spider-Man and Mario Wonder. It's going to be a big week for new games. Peace out, guys. Good night. Have a drink. Enjoy yourselves. We'll see you next week.
Peace.